Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trinity Tonight. My name is Frodan, and I'll be your host, joined by my sidekick, TJ. And this weekend, we have gathered four teams, four professional Hearthstone teams to battle for $150,000 US in a team format that's been unprecedented in the history of Hearthstone. Could not be more excited. And of course, TJ joining me. How you doing, TJ?
Doing great, man. It's been a fun 7 weeks of the regular season. I was there for it all. And going up to last week, we didn't even know who was going to make it to the finals. So really cool to see how competitive the season was, and I can only hope that the finals is going to be just as competitive.
Yep, that's right. We're talking about this competitive format and how it's been unprecedented. Let's go ahead and take a look at what exactly has been happening, getting us to this point. We have a live finals of a double elimination bracket where we'll have 6 matches spanned across 3 days. Today is day number 1. It's Thursday, the 16th of March, 2017. First place will get $75,000. Second place gets $30K. And you know what? Just for showing up, they get $15,000. I don't think that's necessarily a bad deal at all, considering that some of these players have been putting in a lot of time. 7 weeks, TJ. Yep. We're getting to the 8th week of the finals. What's actually been the storylines that's been driving your perspective and your interest, outside of course, the 4 teams making it to the finals?
The coolest thing to me across the season has been how teams have adapted and how teams have dealt with communication. We've seen teams improve, we've seen teams decline, but now they're all in person. They're sitting right next to each other, as we'll see at the Trinity Arena here shortly. So it's going to be cool to see what the team dynamic is now that they're sitting right next to each other in person. And I'm really excited to see some of the team chatter, get into those listen-ins, and get into some of those team stories there.
Yeah, certainly. The bracket is definitely shaping up to be interesting. We seeded it according to how well they did performed in the regular season. So we'll have Luminosity play against Virtus.Pro. That's the first match of today in the upper bracket. And Complexity versus Team Liquid. The losers of those matches are not eliminated because it would kind of suck to fly across the world for some of these guys just to play one series of Hearthstone. We are going to go into the winner's match also from there, and then also the grand finals, which we do want to clarify. The last series for this entire tournament is going to be just one match. It's not going to be a double elimination. So if you come from the losers, you don't necessarily have to win 2 best of 11s in a row. It would be just one final match, definitively to say it all, for the $75K, TJ.
I mean, they're pretty grindy series. So, you know, even though it's 2 matches a day, these matches can go up to 3 hours. It's a lot. It's a lot of Hearthstone, and we've seen just how intense it gets. And I'm really excited at these 4 teams because going to last week, as I mentioned, they were all neck and neck. And a lot of these teams you wouldn't have guessed, looking at the lineup at the beginning of the season with teams like G2, Alliance, Tempostorm, Cloud9, that these would be the 4 that made it to the finals. And only a few of them would be considered like favorites. So it's really cool to see these guys are the ones that made it.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise given the talent lineup that we have, which we do want to introduce and get to show some of the fans at home that they are actually live in studio. No camera tricks. We actually flew them out with our own budget. Our first guest, star from Superbad McLovin. It is Chalky.
I almost tripped over that miniature drum right there.
There's no miniature drum.
There's no
Sit on the far side here.
Whoa.
There you go.
Welcome to the studio, Chalky. How you doing?
Chalky's ready to ball us up here. Look at
You
this.
actually came before the cue immediately, so...
You surprised us. You surprised
We
us.
queued up the audio track a little bit improperly. Chalky, how you doing, man? I love the shorts. I love the shorts. Is it inspired because you're going to crush Virtus.Pro today?
That's exactly why, Dan.
Okay, fantastic.
You nailed it.
Thank you, thank you.
But I don't know. I just came out of the Boston winter, so I'm pretty happy to be in Cali.
Yeah, it's pretty warm here in contrast to other parts of the world. Luminosity had a pretty good record throughout the entire season, definitely tied in the most wins. And, you know, how do you guys feel like your secret was the success of your team for the regular season?
I think we just kind of came out of the gate pretty strong. We never really had communication issues. Like, we were all familiar with playing with each other. And we never, like, brought bad decks, I feel like. Like, some of these teams brought, like, Zoo in some weeks, and they brought Hunter a little prematurely.
Reno Rogue.
yeah, like Reno Rogue. Like, all these teams that brought those decks, it's like sometimes it worked, but a lot of times it didn't. So we never really took huge risks. We just brought what we were comfortable with, we communicated well, and we just tried to play good Hearthstone.
But your first match against Virtus.Pro, and you guys had a 3-0 lead in your regular season match against Virtus.Pro, and you blew it, Chuck. Are you guys going to beat him this time?
Wow.
I mean,
You blew it, Chuck. You personally.
I personally blew
No,
it?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, come on.
Listen, man, when he was in the middle of those arena runs, dominating the arena ladders,
Yeah.
He's doing his best to try to diversify himself.
He was on his second monitor, Challenge Arena, the Croup Arena.
No. See, after we lost to Virtus.Pros, I went to the arena as kind of like, a training montage. Like, I went to the mountains.
Now he's taking off his ankle weights and his...
I learned everything there is to know about Hearthstone. I never would have known how good Friendly Bartender was. But
Are we going to see Friendly Bartender in your
pretty
decks?
good.
Okay.
I said we wouldn't bring bad decks, so.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to it, especially considering post-patch. We'll see if anything changes for team strategies. Your opponent will be Virtus.Pro, and we do have a guest. You may have seen him from authoring famous papers and academic scholarships such as 21st Century Pack Price Economics. Please welcome to the stage Bunny Hopper from Virtus.Pro.
Boo! Boo!
No handshake from me. That's cool. All right, Bunny Hopper, how you doing, man, on this warmer side of the planet? Feeling pretty good being in California?
It's pretty nice here. I like it.
Awesome. Virtus.Pro comes in here as the most traveled team. You guys come from the biggest distance. Naaman and Dr. Hippie, basically on the other side of the planet. Do you guys feel like you've well adjusted? Because you came in last night, so you must be feeling pretty tired.
I'll be all right. We're playing Luminosity, right?
All right, I like it, man. We didn't even ask him to say that.
No, we didn't.
No, I like it. I'm liking the trash talk. In your head-to-head against Luminosity, you guys got the edge. But, I mean, it's a new patch. Do you feel like this kind of patch really helps your kind of style? Because people are saying that the aggressive Pirate strategy took a little bit hit, except for Pirate Warrior.
Well, in our match, Pirate Warrior's been banned, right, from both sides. So as well as with the Rogue, so I guess we're kind of...
Nerfs did nothing.
Yeah, Nerf did nothing. We're just skipping on the whole Pirates. I think it's just, we all just can't take the cannon anymore, so, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of Hearthstone players would agree with you. So, Bunny Hopper, you're also studying for your PhD, and we kind of made a note here in our pre-show that you're actually the only guy that's a real doctor, or will be a real doctor.
Will be, yeah.
So, when you actually get your doctorate, are you going to change your name to Dr. Bunny Hopper or anything like that?
Dr. Bunny, maybe?
Dr. Bunny.
It's true. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good name too as well, TJ.
Yeah, you can hop on over to the tournaments.
Sick. TJ's role was specifically to slide into one-liners, and I can see he's earning his paycheck. All right, well, that pretty much does it for this section. Bunny Hopper, I do want to congratulate you guys. You definitely were in 7th place and looking pretty bad and be able to sneak it in, so being able to see it. But a lot of people predicted you guys to do well. How do you feel like relative to the field here? Do you guys feel like you have a really good chance to beat everybody else here, or do you feel like right now everything's pretty even?
I mean, we already beat everybody else here. In the actual weeks, we beat all 3 other teams that are here. So
you are correct.
we actually lost to the teams that didn't qualify. So
you're feeling good.
Feeling good.
I like it. I like the confidence.
How's the communication for you guys seemed interesting? It's like you trying to understand the dialect between Naaman and Dr. Hippie, because it feels like sometimes they have their own language within each other. Was it tough?
It's pretty dumpster at the start, but it's getting better, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now you guys will be right next to each other, so if anything, you communicate with hand signals, pointing at the monitor.
Yeah.
Sophisticated grunts.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just learned some Russian.
Maybe he just learned some Russian, yeah. Dr. Hippie doesn't speak English, as we all know.
Yeah, he doesn't, huh? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to it as we're going up for our first matches of the day. But as we get to meet our next guest, we're going to head over down to the Trinity Arena with Admirable, who's going to introduce the match format for this weekend.
Welcome to the Trinity Arena. It is here that we'll see one of these 4 teams over the next 3 days become our champion. This is where the battle takes place as the teams battle one gentleman team to another in respectful combat. Equipped with comfy chairs, mouse, monitor, some noise-canceling headsets, and as we have all throughout the season, we'll be able to hear exactly how they talk to each other, get some insights into their strategy. And of course, they'll be playing Last Hero Standing. Coming into this event, they have submit 9 unique classes as decks. They'll ban 2 away from their opponents prior to that match. Then of their 7 remaining, they'll choose one of those classes and it will be omit from play, leaving them with 6 decks. They'll queue up with their first deck, and the winning team stays on that deck, where the losing team, that deck is eliminated from play and is no longer available. From there, they'll play a best-of-11 match where the first team to get to 6 wins is going to secure the match. It's double elimination all throughout the weekend, right up until the finals, where it's one match to decide it all. Over $150,000 is up for grabs, and we'd love to know who you're rooting for and to hear your thoughts on the event. You can tweet at ESL Hearthstone using the hashtag Trinity Series, where I'm sure Dan, TJ, and I will be reading all of your most intimate thoughts throughout the day. Let's go back over to Trinity tonight to introduce our first match.
Thanks, Admirable, or should I say, that's formidable. Thank you, TJ and the one-man band. There was, the reason why is because, of course, Admirable is very formal, but it is kind of serious. We have $150,000 on the line, TJ, which is probably one of the biggest prize pools outside of BlizzCon or the World Championship itself. So in the end, as much as we're trying to balance the dynamic between keeping it loose like Trinity style, but there's also a lot of money on the line for these guys, which could make their entire year.
Yeah, it's hyper competitive, and as Admirable mentioned, still the same old Trinity Series that you guys have come to know and love. The match format's the same. Yeah. We're still going to have the listen-ins, get to see the dynamic between the players, which is really what Trinity Series is all about. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole point about it is being able to kind of be proud of the organization that you actually represent. I think a lot of people look at Hearthstone, they think, why should we even be on a team? We see organizations and players kind of separate a lot of their interests. A lot of times organizations aren't necessarily just having the players play on a team, and as a result, the players, they just find their own practice partners. Yeah. Sometimes they don't even practice with players on their own team. But it's really awesome to see them come together in a format like this and be able to compete next to each other in the live finals. And so with that, I believe our next guest is ready. You may have seen him role-playing in viral YouTube videos known as Vlog 71. Please welcome to the stage, Super JJ from Complexity Gaming.
Welcome to the couch.
Hey, Ben.
Oh, gosh. All right.
How are you doing, guys?
Good.
Doing great, JJ. How you doing, man?
Good, I just got makeup. Do you smell it?
I smell it.
Yes, you reek of makeup. Oh, man.
That's a strong makeup odor coming from you.
Yeah, it's supposed
Timeless.
supposed to make it not that red, my cheeks and such.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you look smooth. Loving the hairstyle. So JJ, you know, coming into the live finals here, it seems like Complexity, they had like a little bit of a moment of a scare. You guys start off really strong, and then the last couple of weeks you were kind of waiting for other teams to go through. So what was kind of the mentality of the team going into the finals here as you guys prepare for everything post-patch?
To prepare. Actually, it's like playing the finals is like every other week, just like offline. So I don't really mind it. I'm also like, yeah, we had a good start, but in the end, it's just like, yeah, we had 3 wins already. It's like we were also never too worried. So I think we just did well as a team.
We are going to be looking at being able to vote for an MVP this weekend. Now, that's going to, of course, go down to a lot of other factors maybe outside of your control. I think me, TJ, and the audience also have a voice in it. But if you were to pick an MVP from your team, you can include yourself if you want to. Who would you say is the most valuable player on Complexity?
I mean, first of all, also one is like our manager because he's doing a lot of scouting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely an MVP. People might not see these people they are like in the background, but MVP of our team, I think it's our spirit. I think we are always very calm together. I would not like to call out a single player at all there. I think it's like very much a team accomplishment. I'm very happy about that.
Okay.
If you guys win the whole thing, I'll change my Twitter name to Super TJ for a whole month.
Yeah.
And I'll put a picture of you on my profile banner with a heart around it.
Okay.
Okay?
You can, yeah, sure. I mean,
Deal?
go for it.
What if you don't win, though? What are you going to give me? You have to change your name to Super JJ Cutie.
We'll definitely call it a work in progress.
Work in progress.
No need to rush the final product there. Your opponent, Super JJ, will be Team Liquid, featuring Dog, Naria, and Show. And we do have one of the guests from Team Liquid joining us, starring from the coming-of-age movie in 1997, Air Bud, the dog is in the house. Please welcome to the stage, Dog.
Welcome. Yeah, he just gave a handshake. Sorry, man. Good boy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Got the high five. Dog, welcome to the set. You are one of the few Americans in the stage. It seems like we have a lot of European representative here at the Trinity Series Finals. I want to ask you about your thoughts on that. Do you feel any kind of weird conflicts of what you represent, because Team Liquid is primarily American and European based?
I mean, not really. They're just good players here. I see everyone is kind of coming from like the scene, right? The Hearthstone scene is my family. It'd be different if it was like, Smash players here, obviously, and we're competing for another game, but there's no there's no region-based conflicts, I feel like.
He says that because he was just playing Smash like 10 minutes ago. In the
Smash
monitor.
was on the screen, and I was like,
Right.
Frodan's here.
Well, it's Smash 4, just for
yeah.
clarity. For clarity.
If the Hearthstone community is a family, Frodan's the dad.
Aw, I would like to see
Frodad.
I'm the granddad, and then these days, dad is more of like the younger streamer guys, the young
okay.
hotties
Yeah,
on
yeah.
camera.
Crip is all of our fathers. So
Let's be real. Let's be real. So, Doug, one thing that really stood out to me above everything else was how spread out all the distribution of labor is at Team Liquid across all 7 weeks. You had 12 wins, Sho had 12 wins, Nairi had 13 wins. Every other team had lopsided results. Super JJ, for example, won 6 games, and Yagud had to win 16. But it seems like Team Liquid was very well spread. Is that deliberate, or do you think that just happened to line up because of the way you guys work together as a team?
I think it just kind of happens. I mean, different weeks we gave each other different roles. Like, I didn't always play Rogue. Naria played Rogue every now and then. I played Reno Mage every now and then. We just kind of switched it up because playing the same class is kind of boring, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it just worked out that way. Maybe it was because we actually split up the roles. Or not split up the roles, we just gave people like kind of random classes that they were comfortable with, that it ended up like that though.
now you guys beat Complexity in the regular season, but that was the week that Super JJ wasn't there.
Yeah, so
So is Super
this week
JJ
it'll-
the key?
No, this week it'll be easier.
I like. Do you have anything to say about that, JJ?
Maybe his teammates will get distracted by the makeup odor.
That's right, man. They weren't preparing for that.
They weren't. The deep, rich smell.
That's right. The pheromones. People, they weren't accounting for that. Over Skype, you can't really smell your colleagues, but what kind of things will happen then? JJ and Dog, they will be playing the second, or I believe the second match today. The first will be between Luminosity and Virtus.Pro. But that does it for all of our pre-show introductions. As we get ready for our first match, Luminosity versus Virtus.Pro, TJ will tell you guys about the big feature of this weekend, of how we're going to engage the stream. So TJ, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, we actually have a new feature for the finals of the Trinity Series, and that is Twitch chat voting. So if you guys like to spam Twitch chat, this is going to be your time to do so. We're going to start it off with a match vote, who you guys think is going to win or who you guys want to win. You can vote for Luminosity or Virtus.Pro. Just go ahead and type it in the chat, either Luminosity or Virtus.Pro, and we'll be able to update the votes live on stream. We'll also be able to have some fun with it. You guys may be able to vote later on in the weekend for whether or not Dog can take off his shirt. And if you guys vote yes, then he has no choice by the laws of Twitch chat. So we're going to have some fun with it. Maybe Super JJ will do something crazy too. But get those votes ready. Either type Luminosity or Virtus.Pro in the chat for who you think it's going to win. But it's about time to jump into the first match of the day. So we're going to send it down to Dan, who's waiting in the Trinity Arena.
Thank you very much, TJ. That's right, I've traveled all the way downstairs to the Trinity Arena in just under 30 seconds. Impressive, I know. Keep it in, ladies. Let's go ahead and welcome our first team this weekend, competing on stage from the Americas. Please welcome Team Luminosity Gaming. And their opponents, representing Europe and all of their native countries that they individually have hailed from. Please welcome the comeback heroes, Virtus.Pro. All right, and the stage has been set for the first match, Luminosity Gaming versus Virtus.Pro. Let's give it to our casters, TJ and Admirable, to get ready for our first match.
We're right here. That's right. My name is TJ, joined by That's Admirable, and we're going to bring you the action for the first match of the day here at the Trinity Series Finals. It's Virtus.Pro versus Luminosity. Admirable, are you psyched?
I have been looking forward to this finals for so long now. Watching the regular season was just so awesome. The fact that you saw such an evolution of decks, as you mentioned in the pre-show, the evolution of the communication among the teams. It felt like everyone started to evolve at some point, and during that process really recognized where some of their weaknesses lie. And in some teams, that was their deck building. In other teams, that was their ability to effectively meld together. Now that we're here in the top 4, I think that these were the strongest performers during the regular season, and it's crunch time now. $150,000 up for grabs. You got to fight for your share.
And you can see the live Twitch chat voting updates here. Looks like a lot of you guys are thinking Luminosity is going to take the first match. Those are updated live, so keep spamming Luminosity or Virtus.Pro in chat if you guys want to vote. There's Luminosity setting up, and you mentioned sort of those dynamics between the players. Is being in person going to change things up a bit? Is it going to make it tougher for some teams? Is it going to make it easier for some teams? Virtus.Pro at the beginning of the season, Bunny Hopper called it a dumpster.
Yeah, I would say none of the teams are going to have a weakness being in person. Being in person is just going to help you guys work together. There's body language communication. There's eye contact. Those things really matter when it comes to conveying your thoughts properly, I think.
Inflicting physical pain on your teammates in order to prove a point. Those types of things are possible now that we have these players in person. But we're getting to the picks and ban phase here. Luminosity and Virtus.Pro. Warrior ban from both sides to start things off. We're getting right back into it. Nothing's really changed from a few weeks ago.
That's right.
And Rogue is the second ban, which is pretty much what we've come to expect post-patch.
Yeah, with small-time Buccaneer taking such a large hit from 2 health to 1 health, and then Spirit Claws also moving up to 2 costs from 1 cost, it means that Shaman not quite the powerhouse that it was prior to that patch. So I think that Rogue is going to be a very common ban throughout the weekend because of its power versus a wide range of decks. You take a look at Warlock, Priest, Paladin, Druid. Those are all going to have to be played in most of the matches, and because of that, Rogue is going to thrive under those circumstances. I expect it to not see too much play.
All right, and Hunter excluded. Virtus.Pro did have a slight stint with Hunter throughout the season, but going to be excluded. All right, now let's go and take a look at the team for Luminosity, the lineup of Chalky, Zalay, and Frozen. And these are the decks that each player will be piloting. But keep in mind, as is normal throughout the Trinity Series, they'll be working together, as you can see. The player in the middle is going to be the player piloting the deck. You can see the mouse is sort of in the middle, so they'll be controlling, and the players will like move seats in order to determine who's going to be piloting that deck. But again, it really comes down to the team play. It really comes down to that coordination.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to boil down to, on the pilot, if there's a split decision amongst teammates. If you can't decide one way or the other, the pilot ultimately has that final decision. So that's a key spot to look for. If teams can't quite decide on what to do, where do they head, and how much pressure do you have to decide one way or the other?
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a look at the team of Virtus.Pro. They were shaky at the start of the season, but were one of the most impressive teams as the Trinity Series regular season went on. Dr. Hippie, Naaman, and Bunny Hopper. Again, the classes below are the decks that they will be piloting for each individual player. Dr. Hippie, one of the decks that Virtus.Pro has had the most success on, one of the decks that both of these teams has had the most success on throughout the season has been Mage. Dr. Hippie had a 6-0 week with Mage, as well as I believe it was Frozen for the side of Luminosity. So Tempo Mage, a lot of success. That's going to be sort of the deck to watch as we move forward in the series.
Certainly, I think it has one of the widest ranges of deck archetypes available within one class. So to see what that's going to be right out the gates is a very important trendsetter here. If teams are looking for more aggression, Tempo Mage is certainly right up the alley. Again, Shaman took a hit, Warrior took a hit. Mage, with those 2 decks taking a hit, the Reno Mage decks were targeting those aggressive builds. Do you want to use a Reno Mage in that instance, or would you rather, if you're going to go the control side, maybe play Freeze Mage, try to out-combo some of the other combo decks available? There's a lot of play within that single class. But talking about what they've done strong specifically, Virtus.Pro won 6-4 versus Luminosity in the regular season, and that was a 5-game win streak with Reno Warlock during that time.
We mentioned on the couch earlier, in that series, Luminosity got off to a quick start with a 3-0 lead with Rogue. and then they just couldn't find an answer to the Reno lock from Virtus.Pro. So that's another deck that we'll have to watch out for. You can see the demeanor of the teams. Virtus.Pro, calm, collected. They're just getting ready. I can hear Luminosity memeing right now on the other side of the stage. The players have like white noise and game sounds being pumped in their headsets, so they can't hear us, but we can sort of hear them a little bit. And I've heard huge draw from Chalky 6 times already since they sat down in their chairs.
They're a team that's very much about better attitude, better mind, better game. If they're comfortable and they're having fun, I think that's a really important facet to the 3 of these guys. They play a ton of Hearthstone. These guys all stream it. If you're not in the right mindset, if you're too focused, you're going to overthink a lot of situations. And honestly, that to me feels a lot of what Frozen is, where he's maintaining an outside-the-box thinking the entire time. And oftentimes you'll hear him suggest some pretty wacky things, but the idea is just to get everyone into a discussion. Is there anything else here?
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. But talking a little bit about sort of the difference between playing online and playing in person, there's actually not much to distract you in person. You're sitting there, you're playing, white noise, you pump your headset. You pretty much focus on your teammates' communication and that giant monitor in front of you, which has the game. At home, you got all sorts of things distracting you. Mom coming in, telling you to clean your room. You have, your second monitor, which you could, be watching stupid YouTube videos all the time.
It's a common problem for you, Mom walking in.
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, and
no wonder.
That's why I don't cast from my room anymore, because Mom was just getting way too annoying. But yeah, I mean, these types of things can, maybe you're used to having those distractions. Maybe you're used to playing from the comfort of your own home. A lot of these players do have LAN experience. Most notably, Virtus.Pro all have big stage experience with a few of these players playing at World Championships. So nobody lacks the experience. But is it going to be different when it's not just yourself that you need to worry about? It's your 2 other teammates.
Yeah, well, I'd say when it comes to the Hearthstone Championship Tour, that Virtus.Pro has definitely had more success there. Dr. Hippie was runner-up at the World Championships in 2016. These 3 guys formed a team after meeting at the Winter Championship for Europe. But Chalky, he's been in the top 8 as well. Think back to winter of 2016. Yep. He was up there, and that was a completely different format. Zalay and Frozen, they've been competing on this tour. Frozen was top 8 in points in Americas last season. He wasn't able to get the job done there, but he played some pretty crazy strategies, and that's very common to see Chalky taking notes. If he's able to, he will write down as much as he can.
Yeah, Chalky also has one of the most unique writing styles, just physically how he holds the pen.
It is weird.
It is interesting.
I'm going to judge him for that.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Too.
I might get distracted by that throughout the broadcast, but Chalky was talking about his sort of super secret Trinity Series notebook. We saw Bunny Hopper also. He had his notepad out there. We provided pen and paper to these players because note-taking is a big part of the team aspect of things. A lot of times they divvy up the roles. One player will be the pilot, one player will be the note-taker, and then one player sort of bounces ideas off of the pilot. So
yeah.
I'm sure these guys have talked about it. We heard them sort of prepping a little bit before the matches and talking about, hey, what are we going to do when you're the pilot? This is what I'm going to do. When you're the pilot, this is what I'm going to do. So cool to see that dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see just such a different format. Hearthstone has historically been a single competitor style of event, and that's largely what cards have been. And the team format just really opens that up. Having that communication, what else can you do with a team is sort of my question about it, because this event has felt so unique because of that single dynamic. The 3 minds working together oftentimes will lead them to the wrong road. Instead of the right thing. Again, that's that overthinking process. You have to remember to be able to get back to basics if things get tough.
All right, Admirable, it's time for, let's get into it, game number 1 of the first series for the Trinity Series Live Finals. Luminosity versus Virtus.Pro. Shaman for Luminosity to start things off, and Druid for Virtus.Pro. This is quite a bit of a different start from what we've traditionally seen in the Trinity Series, with Paladin being the most popular opening class for these players. But the meta's evolving. These guys have probably practiced and thought of different strategies of opening decks, because it can be important. Getting off to that first win opening can be a huge deal with the way last year's standing works.
Yeah, it is a really big one, is setting that trend. If you manage to win a very unfavored matchup, sometimes that's your opponent's only strong deck versus that one in particular. So they can have a tough road ahead of them. Last Euro Standing can be a very snowbally format, but oftentimes it can be back and forth. It's very polarized in that regard, and this matchup, This is one that I think can be very close at times. Virtus.Pro on Druid, they're going to be spending their early game investing into a mana pool, trying to ramp their Jade Golems for those very powerful late game turns. Luminosity, they've chosen to go with a mid-range Shaman here, and they have the opener that is incredible, the Tunnel Trog Totem Golem. With a hand like that, this deck typically wants to pace itself, but maybe they can just get the aggression rolling. They've drawn Bloodlust, they have Jade Lightning, Azure Drake. If they can just keep a consistent curve here and find an opening, that Bloodlust can easily end the game versus Druid.
Yeah, there's a few different approaches you can take when it comes to Shaman nowadays. You can go with the full Jade package. You can also, sacrifice some of the Jades to go with a little bit of more of explosive early start with Tunnel Trog Totem Golem, and have that more explosive mid-game with Bloodlust and like Alakir as choices. So judging by this opening hand, it looks like Luminosity is going with sort of that mid-range, sort of a traditional mid-range that we saw towards the Whispers of the Old Gods expansion. One of the decks that people thought was going to be popular for a really long time. Now started making a comeback, and with the pirate package being sort of eliminated from the deck a lot of times.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks now. The Small-Time Buccaneers not resilient to a lot of hero powers that are out there anymore, and the whole purpose of that card was to generate tempo. Now that it's very high risk, high reward, it's pretty much seeded for like Pirate Warrior, stuff like that. But I like the point you made. There is a lot of options that are opening up for mid-range Shaman lately. I think it was actually Gia got #1 using Thunderbluff Valiant.
Yeah.
And that's a huge change from what we have typically seen from Shaman. That's a throwback to when Shaman first started becoming dominant, was the ability to just 1-for-1 your opponent onto the board, get a couple of totems out, and then Thunderbluff Valiant got immense value.
And now that that card has sort of been rotated out for a while in a lot of these decks, are players going to be prepared for it? Do they have an answer for sort of a wide board of totems plus, hard removal for the Thunderblood Valiant? That's going to be a big question. But looking at this turn, you can see Virtus.Pro thinking it over. It's basically the option of Wrath or Hero Power. And, if you how valuable is keeping those 1/1s on board? They go ahead and Hero Power. But now let's go ahead and listen in to Luminosity as they get ready to think about this next turn.
Good job.
I'm playing the left one.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
Because that's the one we thought about last
I think
turn.
it's actually better to mix up a percentage based on the top deck versus the one in hand.
Yeah, but
Alright,
in this case,
now
I
you're
like
getting
playing the
deep.
left one because of all the thinking on turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at Azure Drake.
In the future, yeah.
Look at the spell damage on that bad boy.
Oh my god, that's overpowered. Spell damage +1. I think plus 0.5 would be more balanced.
When are they gonna nerf spell damage?
Let's go back to the Totem Golem talk.
I got bored.
All right.
I feel like we're really...
Yeah, so they probably want to curve into turn 4 better, maybe?
Yeah, seems like that.
Because next turn is going to be Hero Power, most likely.
Jade Blossom?
Yeah, you want Jade Blossom. I mean, this turn is obvious, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying. Why didn't you play coin out the Totem Golem? Coin out the Totem Golem, the truck?
Because
They don't have Feral Spirits. Yeah, or they want to coin out the 7/7, right?
yeah, but they can't coin it next turn because they're overloaded. They might want to coin out of 5-drop.
Yeah, but they didn't have Feral Spirits.
No.
Was that the third card? Was that the third card?
That was the second card.
Second?
So they had that in their opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna play Totem Golem and go face.
Or we get Totem into coin Drake.
No.
No?
Drake's not very good because the Totem Golem's roughly the same thing, right?
We're going
you're
into
right,
his
you're
turn
right,
5
you're
Azure
right.
Drake. We want to Jade Lightning that.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's do the Totem Golem.
Is there any reason to trade into this thing? It sounds retarded to me.
No, not with 2.
No. Luminosity.
Good call on that one.
We're just Totem Golem gamers.
We're good at this game. We don't mess around with suboptimal plays.
No.
Probably.
And then you probably trade the 1/1 into a 3/4, right?
Yeah. So the next turn they're probably gonna play Sanso.
Yeah, I expect that. No, they can go coin 7/7.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be stone. The way they play.
You can tell the difference already between the demeanor of these two teams. Virtus.Pro all planning. Luminosity peppering in some memes.
Yeah, a lot of the Luminosity planning is just done ahead of time. This is a very data-heavy team that wants to pay attention to analysis and already have these sort of things taken care of in their head. For Virtus.Pro, I mean, you heard the read right off the bat, which was they want to coin into a 5. You heard Frozen right away. Do we want to just totem this turn and coin in the Azure Drake? And again, that's that outside-the-box thinking. He's just exploring the alternatives. That's not necessarily what he wants to do. He's just trying to get everyone thinking. But Zalay and Chalky, they're business in that respect. No.
No.
Totem Golem. Luminosity.
We are Totem Golem gamers. Well, it looks
Rough
like
turn.
they are going to go for the Jade Lightning play that they had planned out from the previous turn, which is going to give them a little bit of headway on board. Virtus.Pro starting to run out of resources a little bit, which is the only concern. They're going to need to pick up
A Nourish.
a Nourish.
Whoa, look at that. They drew it. We predicted it perfectly.
Yeah. Shoe on head or pre-recorded.
I actually have 2 shoes on my head right now. You just can't see it. And right when we go to swap back to camera, I'm going to take it off real quick. But it's going to be there until then.
Yeah. That on the reel, though, that's a pretty big pickup. Because one thing that Druid can struggle with is if they get ramp early on, but no card draw, then they get to a situation where they're out of resources.
Yeah.
If they get resources early on, but no ramp or no mana ramp or Jade ramp, then they fall behind on board. It's a tough balance, and that's why the deck is built in the way that it is. But can't argue against that. That's a big draw.
Yeah, I do think the Wrath is probably proper here instead, though. I mean, the 3/1 Totem Golems are threatening so much value in this instance. I think it's wise for them to just go ahead and hedge their bets here, take the board while they have it, and then use that time to card draw. If they card draw right now, they're going to suffer a lot of damage. Let's listen into Luminosity now that Virtus.Pro has won the board.
All right, so we're going into their turn 7. I like the hammer.
Yeah.
Can't really deal with a 5/10, but what's new?
Nothing's new.
I'm gonna hammer that thing.
I think so.
Hammer time.
I agree.
How old are their cards?
One
from 1, 1 from 2, 1 from 3.
No. It's 2 from last turn. They used the Wrath from the left.
Okay.
So they have 2 cards they drew last
2,
turn.
2, 3, and 5. No, 1 is from turn 2.
No, it's 1 from like the first turn, or turn 2, whatever. They're about the same. And
Yeah,
2 cards that they drew last
turn.
turn.
That's turn 5.
Well, 6 mana is the relevant thing.
Yeah. I like that I'm roping these turns for no reason.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really nailing that.
Or just getting a groove of communication. This is actually like pretty strong.
Do we use the left one or the right one?
The left one.
Left one. Innervate, come on. I think we idle.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you're gonna have the mana.
Yeah, same. Play it. Second idle.
Second idle.
Need some AoE. Nah. I mean, the Innervate is bad. Mark of the Wild kinda. Maybe.
Innervate can be good. Mark of the Wild can also be
I
good.
like Mark of the Wild. Yeah, the next turn we're probably gonna play Rack, so then we'll play Drake and Jade Spirit. I think kinda hurt. Mark of the Wild seems better.
Okay.
You have nothing to play with the Innervate. That's it.
I mean, Innervate we could use.
So the cards in their hand that are proactive.
good.
Let's do that.
You're
Good job,
you're
boys.
so good.
Good job,
You're
good job,
so
good job,
good.
good job. We really needed that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting with the hammer, right? Like, that's retarded.
No.
Don't.
I won't rope this turn.
Can
We
we get
figured
some?
that one out.
Can we get some Vohio in the chat?
Ohio.
Vohio.
Is it Vohio?
I don't know. I just.
I really
say-
think it's Ohio.
I
Ohio
just-
sounds a lot better.
Okay.
I really like Ohio.
I'll work.
Virtus.Pro knew what the play was. We went over to their comms for a second. It was just play rag. Rag goes face. Barely any reaction.
The typical here. Honestly, the rag hitting face is going to get pretty darn punished here, too. I wouldn't be surprised to see Luminosity use either the Bloodlust or the Jade Lightning. I think there's arguments for both sides of it. And at 19, they're so safe from dying that they just have so many good options on how to approach this Ragnaros. And that was the power that Aya draw.
Now the question here is, do they face tank it?
Oh, no.
Go down to 11? I mean, Druid doesn't really have much reach, is the thing.
You got the Aya trade in. Like, that's
Yeah,
so good. And, you're loading up the Jade Claws this turn, too. That's one of the reasons I think I like the Jade Lightning over the Bloodlust, is that even though if your board gets cleared, the Bloodlust is a lot worse than Jade Lightning is. The thing about it is you're getting a 3-3. Wow, they are going to tank it. I'm very surprised by that. So they're getting a 3-3, and then they're getting a 4-4.
Well, the one thing that stood out to me right away was Druid doesn't really have a way to punish not trading in with Aya. Keeping the extra attack on board. I guess it wouldn't really be extra attack in this situation since it'd effectively be a 5-5, but there's no silence effects in the Druid deck like there would be in Shaman. They could hex it, so you want to trade in Aya as quick as possible. So I don't know, going down to 11 is not that threatening against Druid. It gives you less wiggle room to face tank things later on in the match. But with this big of a board against Druid, who really lacks, big AoE removal outside of spell power and swipe, which wouldn't do that much to this board, it's going to be tough for Virtus.Pro to deal with this board, and Luminosity probably won't even have to face tank much as the game goes on.
That was my concern, was spell power and swipe in this instance. If they find that, they're going to lose a 4-4, a 2-2, and a 4-2, and they're at 11 facing an Azure Drake suddenly, and the Bloodlust may be a little bit stranded in hand. Though this is, I think, fairly brilliant play, where you really think about what Virtus.Pro has been hanging on to and what their turns have looked like. Do they have a swipe, even at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, you see them nourished, they picked up a lot of fresh cards, but they've been putting together a hand range the entire time, and frankly, it just hasn't been there. And now, Virtus.Pro, that looks like it to me.
Yeah, Bloodlust, 5 minutes on the board. That is well over lethal. So that's going to be Luminosity. Seeming like they're going to take game number 1, as long as they spot it admirable.
Yeah, and that first Bloodlust, maybe they just do nothing but trade here, and then forego the attack. Wow, spotted it. Brilliant play.
Brilliant play.
It's the use of the life total in the previous turn.
Yeah.
To me, that's really impressive. The recognition that 11 life, about the same thing as 30 when you have this big of a lead.
Yeah. All right, well, Luminosity takes the game with Shaman. Now, that could end up being a big deal because Druid has traditionally been used as a counter deck to quite a few things. But, I like the way that Virtus.Pro read the team they were playing against. What is Druid usually meant to counter? Sort of those Reno decks. Reno Mage, Reno Warlock. Luminosity's been on the Tempo Mage train. They've been on the Freeze Mage train. Are you really going to need the Druid? Why not scout with it? They pick up the loss, but I like the way they open.
Yeah, I don't mind Druid as an opener right now because the aggressive decks have just died back so much. One of the reasons that you saw Anyfin Paladin was because it was a fairly neutral deck, had strong matchups versus control, and it was pretty darn close to even versus the aggro builds. A lot of it boiled down to simply, did you draw Doomsayer and have a strong follow-up? In those situations, Anyfin Paladin could sweep away an aggressive deck and then run away with the match. We saw it happen so many times.
Yeah, all right, we'll take a look at the remaining decks for Luminosity. Of course, everything available to them. They'll continue to play on the Shaman until that loses, so they'll be queuing that up for the next game. But take a look over at the side of Virtus.Pro. How do they want to approach this next game? How do they want to counter the Shaman? They have plenty of tools at their disposal, but now we get into those discussions of how do you balance, throwing out a counter deck, but holding on to things that you may need later on in the series to counter decks that you don't have other answers to in the remaining lineup of 5 that you have now as Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, and this is where the sort of that second layer of the team and the last year standing format really comes into play. With 6 decks available, there is a lot of iterations that can happen. I remember practicing with Chalky at DreamHack Austin that he won. It was first North American DreamHack. And as he sat down for his matches and we began the discussion on how to lead, he would play out quite literally every possible iteration that could happen in a best-of-5 format with the ban available across the 4 decks. And so what he would do is every single instance he would write it out and then find the one that yielded the most positive impact with the least negative impact. And I mean, he would sit there for 15 to 20 minutes prior to a match doing that.
Chalky is the epitome of a percentage-based player.
And there's Frozen.
And there's Frozen. Look at him.
But you heard it in that match, too. I mean, Frozen, he's kind of saying some off-the-wall stuff. He's just trying to get everyone to think, like, yeah, we're having fun, but, guys, there's 75K up top.
If you remember back to sort of the regular season, what Frozen's role was in Luminosity, he's sort of like a grounding presence among the team when it comes to like reeling back the memes from Chucky and Zalay. But when you're in the match, he really does just throw out the most random things. I remember back to one of the matches that they had where for like 3 turns in a row, Chucky and Zalay were like heated discussion about, you know, their plays and strategy. And Frozen's just like, I want to dome them. Over and over again, I want to dome them. And he just sort of, you know, prodding them and making them think and making them defend their choices.
Yeah, look at the body language here from Virtus.Pro too. I mean, they feel a little bit nervous to me looking at them. And honestly, this team has probably been the ones most prone to frustration during the regular season. And at some point, we saw Bunny Hopper take a tough loss, and he threw his headset.
I hope he doesn't throw his headset here. Those bad boys, we don't have anymore. We only got 6.
There goes the budget.
Oh man, Ripperino.
I mean, is that a factor here for Virtus.Pro ever? Are they prone to frustration on a big set, under the cameras, under the lights, on the main stage?
Well, to be honest, even though, you know, these guys have had to travel really far, at home, all these 3 guys were playing at pretty late hours. Bunny Hopper said that, you know, he's sort of a normal schedule kind of guy. He doesn't go by the gamer schedule. So it was late for him. Naaman and Dr. Hippie all the way on the other side of the world, basically, Naaman playing at like 4 a.m. Now they're back in sort of a normal time playing, so I think that might help them out a little bit. But now that we're getting into the mulligan phase for game number 2, let's listen into Virtus.Pro and see what they're debating.
It's not affected by G lighting. Yeah, I guess. Mulligan all the way.
Oh, wow. That's a fist pump.
Oh, that's a Mana Tide.
These are all true statements. That's a Jade Claws.
Should we rope it out? We're
We're
toteming, not Jade Claws on 2, because we want to tie it on 3.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Just figuring it out.
All right, hold on. Let me write down their cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
0, 0, 0, 0 coin.
1. Don't forget the 1.
Yeah, there's a 1.
All right, I'm going to end the turn. You ready?
Oh,
Walk like a hawk.
Good job.
They drew a card.
Mechanically perfect.
Good sequencing.
The year is 20XX. Zalay is playing his mid-range shaman at TAS levels of perfection. Whew.
I feel like I messed that turn up. There's supposed to be like a 1-3 in play. Turn 3.
No.
No.
No, you could just totem.
This turn we probably should rope it out a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense to me. What if we like got really argumentative over here? Like we just started throwing our hands in the air, and they're like, "Whoa, what are they thinking?"
You know
about?
what, Chalky? I think you're wrong about that.
Oh, come on, Zalay!
Ah!
Okay.
Alright, totem.
Good totem. Okay, you got the bad totem.
That's
no,
the good
that's
totem.
a good totem.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it clears the Hex frog.
Oh. Okay.
If he coins out Farseer, we can Flame Tongue and kill it.
Okay. I like where you guys' heads are at.
All right, he's got 2 cards for turn 2 because he tapped. Tied on the left, in for 1.
Do you really want to push the 1? I don't know.
Yep. No, I'm gonna make that decision right now.
This could be the
That's going in.
This could be the Molten Giant tournament.
Should I hex though?
When people least expect it. All right. Shaman Gamers.
That's a good one.
That's a pretty good one, yeah. Okay.
Wow, Luminosity getting a little bit heated.
The teams can see each other. They can look across the way and see body language. So
Yeah.
I think there is some purpose to maybe feigning some things there if you see your teammates or your opponents are paying attention.
But we Luminosity pretty much talks like nonstop. It feels. We had a 10-second listen to Virtus.Pro. I'm not sure if you noticed. You can tell by the little speaker and how their team cam gets highlighted. They didn't say a single thing in like 10 full seconds, and you can tell they're just kind of mellow right now. That's sort of a nod to how they were during the regular season. They're not a big communicating team, They just communicate when it's necessary.
A lot of that too could boil down to language barrier in that instance. You know, they're having to meet on common ground with English. And
Dr. Hippie says that he doesn't speak English.
Well, English isn't their first language across 3 of them. So, you know, how easy is it to just have a free, open, you know, carefree communication, especially when there's this much at stake? I mean, you know, maybe it's an agreement to be focused, but in game 1, we heard them talk constantly like, this is what they kept in their hand, this is what their mulligan was, here's what they want to do. You know, that is a little bit of a difference. And here, Virtus.Pro going for that Twilight Drake instead of the Hellfire, gave up another card draw. It did prompt a Hex, but that's a high-value Hex target for Luminosity.
Yeah, you sort of have to, you know, really think down to how do you lose this matchup. And letting a Mana Tide sit on the board against Shaman, it's actually one of the ways you lose, giving them more options, getting them closer to that second Hex, to that Bloodlust, being able to build up a board that you can't deal with. That's a big thing. A lot of pro players will say like GG when they get a Mana Tide Totem on 3, or they coin out a Mana Tide Totem on 2 against a Arena Warlock deck. In the right matchup, yeah. They understand that is a hard card to deal with, and it's just going to continue to sort of let you match the resources of the Warlock life tap.
Yeah, if you think about it, if Virtus.Pro Hellfires in the previous turn, they land Twilight Drake on this turn, but they're staring down pressure.
Sure.
So this way, they're not staring down as much pressure, but now the Mana Tide's gotten 2 cards. So the Mana Tide was already getting 1 card away from Virtus.Pro and replacing itself. Now it's getting 1 card away from Virtus.Pro and it's replacing itself twice. The brand here is going to get chewed apart, and that's 3 draws from Mana Tide. I'm very concerned with how Virtus.Pro is doing this. Let's listen to Luminosity and hear what their thoughts on the situation are.
1 life?
They didn't coil.
Like, here's the thing. I don't think the thing is like that important. Like, what about just Flame Tongue?
Frog Golem or something?
Or you don't. You played Claws with the Trog and leave your guy alive.
Flame Tongue's pretty good.
Then they have to Hellfire us, right? Is that not good?
Why isn't that?
I don't want to get coiled. I don't want to get.
We're getting MC tech if we Trog Claws Flame Tech, right?
Yeah. Why not just Flame Tongue thing? It's real. I think it's really good.
Okay.
Like, they don't have coil. What's their turn 5?
There's also Trog, Golem, Flame Tongues out.
Oh, they don't have coil. That's a good point, actually. Okay. You seem to be really strong on this whole thing from below thing, so.
I learned from Muzzy, man.
I like Flame Tongue thing's pretty good.
Yeah, trust Muzzy.
Tap on Demon Wrath. No. Demon Wrath. Kind of want to play Doomsayer, but we can
tap Demon Wrath, and then the next turn we can go Hellfire Doomsayer.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it though.
Job's done.
So they're setting up for something maybe? Or they just felt like they needed to get rid of that?
They needed to get rid of that. But they are kind of setting up a Hellfire.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I like developing these claws, sort of, if it's not going to screw up our turn.
Alright, so like, I'm playing Totem Golem, so I have 4 health.
Totem Golem's happening.
I'm going to play Tunnel Trog before it.
Tunnel Trog because, yeah,
and then
why
I
not?
have 3 mana, so it's like Hero Power, or Flame Tongue, or Jade Claws.
I don't like Flame Tongue.
I don't either.
I don't really like Jade Claws. And Totem seems alright. We could also go, don't play the Tunnel Trog and go Totem Golem, Jade Claws, Hero Power. And play around AoE a little bit.
I like the Trog getting down.
Yeah, I want the Trog, and I want it next to the Flame Tongue, and I like the Hero Power of the Jade Claws.
Okay.
This is good positioning. Damn. Is it greedy that I wanted Healing Totem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, spell damage is pretty good. That's gotta be second.
Hellfire Doomsayer, right? Yes. No other play here. So they already used 1 Hex. They didn't have Jade Lightning before. I mean, like, the last 2 cards can be Jade Lightning.
Yeah, they drew 3 cards afterwards, though.
Was it 3? Wait.
Yeah, 1 from the tide and 2 from the turn.
No, yeah, true.
Well, Virtus.Pro's reads are on point, but they're falling pretty far behind this match. They've been able to stifle the pressure, and looks like they're going to use Flame Tongue Totem and keep the Jade Lightning for reach, actually.
Well, it's also, it gets the thing from below down on this turn.
Oh,
That's a
true.
big one.
A turn before the Twisting Nether turn.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Luminosity had such a strong setup, and it boiled down to that Mana Tide picking up so many extra cards. Mid-range Shaman has a lot of poor situational cards in this matchup, and Virtus.Pro allowed them to keep drawing cards. That's what's gotten them into this situation. If they simply Hellfired early on, this push from Luminosity would have been not nearly as strong. I think Virtus.Pro would have gotten development in that case.
Yeah, I mean, they drew 3 cards from the Mana Tide, which is equal to the amount of cards that Virtus.Pro has drawn from life taps this game. So
Luminosity paid 3 mana, and Virtus.Pro paid 6, and they paid 6 life.
Yeah, and 6 life, which is a big deal. Now, Virtus.Pro has some power plays coming up in a few turns, but this
big one.
tech has to be big.
Decent, but that leaves 10 damage on board, 2 from the Jade Claws. If they don't Blast Crystal here, they are dead.
Yeah, if they Blast Crystal, there's 10 damage on board.
And now this opens up just Portal for Luminosity.
Yeah.
Which might turn into Portal, Hammer, Twilight. But the point is they're able to put Virtus.Pro in a tough position without really using too much that's necessary for them. So Virtus.Pro, the only way they have to really sweep the board at this point, that Twisting Nether, it's going to boil down to whether or not Luminosity just picks up the right draw at the right time, or if Virtus.Pro can find Reno Jackson.
Reno is going to be huge, or just a way to block damage, you know. Twisting Nether is going to be able to reset the board, but then they have to deal with the second reset with no Demon Wrath, no Hellfire, all expensive cards in their hand.
Abyssal dealing more damage.
Abyssal, yeah.
Azure Drake hasn't even been played for Luminosity yet.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and listen in now to Virtus.Pro and see how they're trying to plan a way out of the situation.
There's little time.
So their hand is pretty bad. No minions, right? Problem. No light system. They have the weapon, yeah. Seems like a Siphon Soul. I mean, we can play minion on the board if we tap. 4, 6, 7.
I think we siphon here.
Yeah, we just have to siphon the Mana Tide, the Flame Tongue.
Yeah, Flame Tongue.
Or we're just dead.
Yeah.
Job's done. Alright, so they
That's
4,
lethal, right?
5,
That's exact lethal.
5,
14.
10.
It's
No,
exact
it's
lethal.
1 over. It's 1 over.
Oh, we have spell power, okay.
Delay from Luminosity Gaming, piloting the Shaman deck to TAS levels of perfection.
Except for the huge mistake we made.
We don't want to talk about that.
That didn't happen.
Never happened. And
Definitely played perfect because we won.
Zalay is piloting that Shaman deck with TS levels of... I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I think that's the people who search you at the airport or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that mistake, I mean, it just never happened. They played it perfectly because they won.
That's all that matters is the result.
I mean, what mistake are they referring to, I wonder?
I think Flame Tongue Totem positioning on the previous turn with the Think for Bull and the Totem Golem. But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I bet it is positioning.
Maybe they were thinking of a different plan where the turns they miscounted their mana. On the turn where they developed the double Maelstrom portaled, I think they thought they had a different amount of mana than they did.
I mean, I just would double Maelstrom portal there anyway because it's a better play.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but maybe we'll get some insight
Turning a
into it
bad
later
card
on.
into a good card.
Yeah, but Shaman has taken 2 wins now in the series, so Luminosity still has all of their decks left remaining for them. And what is going to stop this Shaman deck?
Well,
Luminosity, it's going to be up to Virtus.Pro to find it.
I'm really concerned for Virtus.Pro at this point because their Warlock's gone, and now Luminosity still has Priest. Warlock is meant to just absolutely trounce Priest. That's one of the goals of that deck, and while Priest isn't a super popular deck, the point is that that's one of your heavier percentages for matchups. Virtus.Pro has Mage left. They have Paladin left. they have Shaman left. Priest performs pretty well versus those 3 classes.
Yeah, and a couple of the decks that Virtus.Pro, you know, would traditionally have to counter the Priest from the side of Luminosity aren't there. They're banned. They have Shaman and, or sorry, Warrior and Rogue, which usually prey on Priest quite effectively. They're not in the picture anymore because of the bans.
Yeah, all smiles from Luminosity.
They're always all smiles.
And on Virtus.Pro's side, I mean, you could feel the tension in that last game where they're debating. The Twisting Nether, if they used it there, was just so weak that can you give up a card that valuable and still win the game? It's like their last board clear, basically.
That's the question. Would you have won the game anyway if you had Twisting Nether that turn, given your opponent a full free turn of development, of reload? Now, one thing that baffles me is they didn't make the read that there was no minions in the hand. They even said there's a weapon, probably no minions because of the previous turn and the swing with the weapon. Maybe you can think the reload's not there. Maybe you can wait a turn and Twisting Nether that turn.
I think that's
try
where
and live.
I think that's where like Weapon and Jade Lightning are really big concerns for me, or maybe the minion's just so heavy that they can't afford to play it right now. So in the face of Twisting Nether, you either face a really heavy spot or you take 11 points of damage. But I do think it is a better position for them if they Twisting Nether and then follow up with Siphon Soul. You know, I hope it's like Flame Wreath Faceless maybe on the other side. They have a weird tech of that, or just Azure Drakes their play. You get a little bit of tempo back. But I mean, I don't know. Like it's tough to expend Twisting Nether on Maelstrom portals and hero powers and still win the game at that point. But I don't necessarily feel like they should have just gone with the Siphon Soul and hoped that there was no damage on the other side. The read is damage.
I'm gonna unleash a casterism here, Admirable. You gotta play to win. You can't play not to lose. And I think that's what they did.
Yeah, and that statement is always about, should you make a play that just simply tries to extend the amount of time that you're in the game, or should you make a play that is bad, but it's your best percent play? You know, oftentimes if you struggle in the early game and you don't really have much going for you mid-game, all you have left is poor decisions. So at that point, it's which one is just the least bad. And that's kind of the difference between playing to win and playing to not die. The Twisting Nether, to me, felt like it was playing to not die.
All right, well, let's get into it. Game number 3, can Luminosity keep up this streak on the Shaman, or Virtus.Pro be able to stop it with a Dragon Priest deck?
I think this is their next best bet, but Luminosity has come correct with some very key tech in a matchup like this, Hammer of Twilight. The fact that Luminosity lost Spirit Claws meant that they lost a lot of early game potential. They have to focus more on a big turn 5. They have Azure Drake and they have Hammer of Twilight in there to get the job done. But this hand from Virtus.Pro is one of the reasons that Priest performs fairly well versus Shaman, is if you have a strong curve and then Shadow Word Pain, you get to offset Totem Golem, take the board, and maybe you start drawing cards.
Well, it is sort of like feast or famine in this matchup. Either you have the early game to deal with the Shaman's board, or you don't and you lose.
Yeah, it's very much based around success rate. And a large portion of that success rate is Northshire Cleric, and another large portion of that is Shadow Word Pain. Those are 2 very key cards in the matchup. They have them early on, and if they pick up a dragon, this hand is looking dandy.
Yeah, now Northshire Cleric on turn 1 is not always a good idea, especially when you're going first, because if you don't have a follow-up for it, it just gives your opponent a free trade over. So Northshire Cleric in this case is good because they have a Shadow Word Pain to back it up. So if Totem Golem comes out, they have a way to deal with it. If Tunnel Trog comes out, easy for them. They get a free attack in and a free heal or draw a card. So definitely I like the situation. Now it'd be interesting to see if Luminosity picks up on that, because they know that it's all top level play here. Is Northshire Cleric really a good turn 1 play if you don't have a follow up? And we'll see if Luminosity is going to pick up on that.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. Actually, that same situation came up in the Collegiate Series earlier this week, where a team had an opener with Northshire Cleric. They didn't have a follow-up with it. And it wasn't in Shaman matchup, but it was in Priest matchup, where it's also very important. They chose to play Northshire Cleric, had no way to protect it, and then eventually it died and didn't get value. When they play Northshire Cleric here, Luminosity is coining out this Totem Golem against a team of Virtus.Pro's caliber. You know, I think this is a play they have to make, because Wormrest Agent could just as easily be the possibility there.
Yeah.
But I think there is some insight there where maybe you don't do it. Maybe you wait and you play it on turn 2 instead. Like, what is the Northshire Cleric really going to do right now?
Get in for 1, draw cards.
If you get Shadow Word Pain, now your turn's dead, you don't have coin. This opens up for Virtus.Pro to play Cabal Talon Priest or Bran, and suddenly you don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, Bran here It could be huge.
It's like
Now,
if you play the Totem Golem here, you occupy the turn 3, and then you have either Jade Claws or you have Coin Feral Spirit. I mean, that's a big turn to look at to me.
that's true. That's a very good point. This brand will not have an answer unless Spell Power Lightning Bolt. We haven't seen a Lightning Bolt come out from Luminosity just yet. There's a possibility it could be in there.
I mean, what's the option here? Well, it's probably that, but
Yeah. Maybe try and swing the board with Manti Totem, but Brand on the board is scary going into turn 4.
Feral Spirit does look pretty good too. I have to admit. Playing Feral Spirit here does unlock the potential for them to have Jade Claws in the following turn, and now they're just hoping that Virtus.Pro doesn't have Twilight Guardian. This is a desperation play. Oftentimes, Feral Spirit is meant to be played when you're either completely even on board or just slightly ahead. In those situations, Feral Spirit's amazing. When you're behind, it can be a big liability. Here, I think this is the necessary play to start threatening the board, but this is where Virtus.Pro is going to shine. They're going to start drawing cards.
We'll start softening up the board for a Lightning Storm. That's also sort of a role of Feral Spirits, but Luminosity's next turn is basically limited to Jade Claws. They have to expect that these Feral Spirits are going to get dealt with, and so Flame Totem's off the board. So it's pretty much Jade Claws or bust. Now, Virtus.Pro, the Wormrest agents are still stranded. We still have not seen a Dragon pickup from Virtus.Pro. So maybe that's a ray of hope for Luminosity, but they're still falling behind on the board. Let's go now and take a listen in to Luminosity and see how they want to deal with this brand, which they can't reach.
One that they had.
Well, now we got a J-Claws.
So they probably operative next turn.
Well, what if they don't operative? Like, because we're not really beating operative too often.
No.
What's a plan to win this game?
So we could go like just Totem and then Hammer and then try and get a swing turn with Storm. Like hammer the brand after, like give them a turn to play a 5. They hit us for 1.
Okay, I agree.
I kind of just like Totem.
Yeah.
Like Claws doesn't really do much. It just offsets us if anything. What do we do on 5 with 4 mana?
Claws gives us some chance to give them a weak turn if they don't have the good 5.
I just like hero powering.
You shield the brand?
I like healing the cleric.
Yeah. I think you buffed Bran. Yeah, just like buffing Bran, and
Oh yeah, we have to protect Bran.
yeah. Yeah, just
I was thinking about healing, and if we get the 3-drop, we put the 3-drop on the Bran. We heal the cleric, and if we get 3-drop, we put the 3-drop on the Bran, and if we don't hit it, then we go power shield on the Bran, and then we can go Vermer's Agent.
don't like healing cleric, I just like buffing Bran. Yeah, let's see what we're gonna get.
No, what do you want to play?
You just heal cleric first. No, why would you heal cleric? You wanna buff Bran. So that is
You will buff Bran
If I get the 3-drop, the only thing is Twilight Drake.
I wanted to get the dragon and play the 4-mana dragon, the Twilight Guardian.
No.
No, just heal. Okay, see?
Yeah, I like Warlock.
You wish to live. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Hammer the 3/4.
3/4, yeah.
Draw Hex next turn, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is gross.
Like, what could they have there? Like, if they didn't want to play.
Well, the Talon Priest
Over,
was
like,
just
heal.
good, right?
No, that was off the top.
Oh. Shit.
Anchor Dragon.
So, like,
Could be
AoE, death.
Yeah, you play Twilight Drake here every time.
Must consider.
Are you mocking me?
That's a big Drake.
And big Brown.
And a big Bran, yeah.
We're pretty dead.
That was off the
So
top.
we know they play Twilight Drake in their deck. That's one of their tech
Let's
cards.
just play for information now.
Yeah, I think so.
Double Manatide hit the 3/4.
Double
Well,
Manatide.
double Manatide gives other teams info on us too.
That's true. Well,
Okay,
they
so let's
can
see,
see
what have
this
we
game.
shown
we can
already?
Watch this game though.
We've already.
It gives us more of our deck. It shows more of our deck, I
Yeah.
guess.
But we've already shown Bloodlust, Hammer of Twilight. We haven't showed any Jinyu Water Speakers. That's kind of a reason to
You
concede.
just said Junior Water Speaker, so I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, they don't know how many. I'm not sure what I said really gave them any information.
Like, what are we gonna see out of them? They're not gonna play anything that gives us info.
Yeah, but they just play the Twilight Drake.
Yeah,
so-
but that's a minion. They're not gonna play Dragonfire Potion or Holy Nova, and it's not like we can check VODs or anything between games.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what you do. Like, we're just semi-playing for info at this point in a really weird way. Like, we're hoping we get like a Holy Nova out of them like this.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Or an Argus.
Yeah.
And this is what the strategy talk comes to when you're talking about a team tournament, is Luminosity discussing a strategic concede here to conceal information.
Wow, turns out Zully just gave up all the information.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We didn't say how many Jinyu Water speakers, but
said
you
we-
did say speakers, plural S.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of funny. But
Whoa, Virtus.Pro giving away a lot of information.
Another Spite Historian.
That's a good discover to get out of the way too. I mean, that first one was bad. Yeah, look at that. Now you're right into the good discovers.
Yeah, now they get double value from Draconid Operative as well. They do have to make sure that their trades are okay.
This game is done.
Yeah. Luminosity knew it. That's why they spent their whole last turn deciding on whether or not it was correct to.
2-10 brand hit. Northstar's drawn 2 cards. They didn't land an uncontested Manatide. They got Shadow Word Pain on their Totem Golem. Shadow Word Pain is one of the only profitable ways to answer Totem Golem. That hit right away. The Operative just showing more cards. Look at that.
And are going to make some trades here. Yeah. Maybe there's a chance for Luminosity to get Spell Power and double Lightning Storm 2 in a row or something along those lines.
I want you to look at this board again. And I want you to look at the hands.
Mm-hmm.
And reconsider your life.
You win.
Yeah.
That about sums it up. Luminosity took a look at the board again, and they go ahead and tap out, and that means Virtus.Pro put themselves on the board.
There's the smiles.
The first smiles, and we actually had a zoom in on Soleil's face, and I lied earlier. I said that Luminosity is always smiling, but not in that game. They were not smiling in that game.
Yeah, and we saw the tech there from Virtus.Pro with the Twilight Drake. That is meant to be stronger in Priest matchups. And not only that, but against Paladin, that card can be dominating on board position. The amount of health that it has means it's not really vulnerable to True Silver Champion in many spots. I think that's a very strong choice given the metagame has slowed down. But we did hear some of the debate coming in. Naaman wanted to play super hard to the board there. Dr. Hippie and Bunny Hopper like, take a free card.
Yeah,
I like the free card in that spot.
There was a bit of sort of, I don't want to call it heated discussion between Virtus.Pro, but Naaman definitely had an idea of how he wanted to play that turn. And he was overruled by Bunny Hopper, Dr. Hippie, and that's sort of the team dynamic that you have to have, majority rules.
I mean, there's merits to both sides of it, too. I liked what Naaman was going for. He's like, if we just establish a big board position, we're going to win.
Yeah.
Dr. Hippie and Bunny Hopper go, if we draw cards, we're going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 roads to El Dorado at that point. I don't think it mattered much what they did. The big one to me was the Northshire Cleric on turn 1. Virtus.Pro, when they play Northshire Cleric on turn 1, they are going to have a follow-up, in my opinion. It's either going to be Warm Rest Agent or it's going to be Shadow Word Pain. And I think that's it. There's no reason for them to play it otherwise. Luminosity coined Totem Golem straight into that, ran into Shadow Word Pain, and that completely snowballed the game. I'm curious about your read there where you mentioned it. Are they going to play this without a follow-up? Because it's very weak without one. I think Luminosity may have been able to pick up on that and decided to delay it. If they played Totem Golem on 2, that means on turn 3 they would have had a big coin turn. It would have offset the brand from coming down. A lot of stuff happens if they delayed a Totem Golem for a turn.
Yeah, the orcs in the arena are starting to get on edge above us.
It does open them to Cabal Talon Priest at that point, but then they can answer the Cabal Talon Priest and stick a 5/1 to board.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a look at Shaman win percentage for some of the teams in this tournament. Luminosity, definitely one of the more successful teams with Shaman. We've seen it be a staple in their lineup. Virtus.Pro sort of has a little bit of an opposite effect. they had Shaman open a couple times during the tournament, mostly aggressive Shaman at the beginning of the Trinity Series, and they weren't having much success with it. Now, a lot of this is weighted on the times that teams left open Shaman at the beginning of the season was teams attempting to counter, aggressive decks with their lineup. So a little bit unfair for Virtus.Pro there, but we haven't seen them prove themselves with a Shaman deck in the Trinity Series yet.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I see it a totally different way as well, where if you look at those teams, Complexity and Virtus.Pro, they feel like control-style teams to me, where they play these wide-open game plans. They like to have a giant macro plan in place. You look at Liquid and you look at Luminosity, these are early-game micromanagement-focused players.
Yeah.
And they very rarely ever misstep in the early game. And when they do, it costs them. That is like where they excel. I remember watching Show in tournaments in 2015, and when he played Hunter a lot, and that was very different from him because he was known as a control warrior player, but his Hunter play was just on point. He understood every single matchup. He knew when to weave in hero powers, when to get heavy to board development, he knew when to take risks, and when he could play it slow. Those teams know how to pilot a deck like Shaman, and you see a big difference in the early game from those two versus Complexity and versus Virtus.Pro. I think that's a big difference in the win rates, personally.
Well, that could definitely be the case. Virtus.Pro, we'll see if... of course, they're going to be on the Priest, but they still have Shaman in their lineup. So if if the series gets closer, they might have to play that Shaman later on. But now we're going to see Chalky become the pilot for Luminosity, playing the Arena Warlock. And again, we do have the live Twitch chat voting that we'll be utilizing throughout the broadcast today. Currently, the vote we have up is who's going to win match number 1? Is it Luminosity or Virtus.Pro? Just type either Luminosity or Virtus.Pro in the chat. We'll get a live update in a moment on the scores between those guys. You can see how to type if you don't know how to spell Luminosity or Virtus.Pro. We got you covered.
Hey, just look at the keyboard and just copy what the things look like.
Sure.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I actually can't even read.
You can only read the words that are on Hearthstone cards. As soon as Blizzard prints a card that has a word that's never been on another Hearthstone card before, you got to relearn it.
You know, a good friend of mine, actually, we grew up playing cards together, and I had learned that when they were 16 years old, they actually just couldn't read. Like, it was a struggle to read for them. So the way that they had learned how to play cards was simply watching people play them and talking about them. And so they would memorize what things did through the pictures. And then when they'd go to tournaments, I mean, this was an incredibly strong player. They would win tournaments over and over again. And at times they just actually couldn't read what their opponent's cards were because it was such a big struggle because of a cognitive ability.
And those kids were Luminosity.
It wasn't them, but
it's a heartwarming story.
I just thought that was a cool thing. Like you mentioned that, and it reminded me of that moment.
Yeah,
I was like, and I remember when I heard that, I was like, really?
Card games help bring people together in the world. Help brought us here to the Trinity Arena.
Yeah, and now they've learned that skill. They've started working in esports, and it was important to be able to network on social media tools.
Yeah,
they had to force themselves to overcome that position. Honestly, that's a cool story. I'm glad you reminded me of that.
Cool story, bro.
I'm going to give them a call tonight. See how they're doing.
Me too. Same. Let's get in the match. Virtus.Pro's on the Priest. Luminosity is on the Warlock, Arena Warlock here.
We talked about this matchup earlier. It is not pretty for the Priest.
No, and Luminosity has Felfire Potion, so it seems like they're going for a little bit more of a slower, greedier list. And we'll see how their list is going to shape up. But let's go and listen now to Luminosity, see how they want to plan these turns coming up.
Okay. All right, they 3 keep and pass on 1. That's interesting.
That means like they have a coin 2, but they don't want a coin 2. They want to either coin 3 or play a 2 and then a 3. They could like coin Bran.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Obviously nothing we can do, so.
Let's just try to get our Shadow Bolt.
Okay, I'm trying.
Or Doom.
We're all trying together?
Hold on, let's so you want to cross off cards, okay. Foil, Imp Gang, Hellfire. We're also just like bluffing here by taking a while. Hellfire and Abyssal.
The old naked turn 2 Doomsayer against Priest.
I mean...
So the odds of them having pain just went way up, right? Passing on 1 after a 3 keep.
I don't know if it necessarily went way up. It went up, but...
I mean, it eliminated a lot of the cards that could have potentially kept.
Okay.
Would have been such a nice curve.
Are you mocking me?
Probably kept that, a dragon, and something else, right?
Talent Priest.
Yeah,
Or
that makes
Bane.
sense. So, like, you like tapping here, Frozen?
Like we can PO coil tap next turn if he buffs it, and it stops their 4.
So many
Yeah, I'm
Close
okay.
it now.
I'm okay just playing the Imp Gang boss.
Yeah, now that with this play, like I kind of like clearing as well now.
I like.
You like whatting? I like. My instinct is the boss. Like the tap is only one card towards a 4-drop,
Yeah.
and it may be awkward for them to.
Yeah,
Like,
to pain this turn.
Like,
And they might think we're baiting out the pain for like a Doomsayer, and they don't pain.
We've got so much removal that we really just need to kind of waddle our way there.
Just waddle on through the match.
It's a good way to put it, honestly.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you think about this matchup, it's very Warlock favored.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why is because Warlock has the tools to go 1-for-1 with Priest. You know, Priest, they seed minions in very health-effective manners. Warlock has removal in very straight-up kill-your-things style ways.
Yeah, the way this matchup usually works is, you know, the 2 win conditions for Priest are either getting on the board really fast and really early and just playing sort of an aggro match, you know, just beating down the Warlock, or by getting so much value from Bran, from Draconid operatives, you know, stealing Jiraxis potentially, stealing burn spells or burn damage if you go through the Draconid operatives and get like Leroy Jenkins or Power Overwhelming or something along those lines, or potentially both. Those are the way the Priest wins, which are actually really hard because the Warlock's entire early game plan is to either make big threats or stifle your threats. And so if Jiraxis ever comes down on a safe board for the Warlock, it's usually game over unless a crazy Nefarian sacrificial pact scenario comes over. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's definitely a value battle for the most part, and the natural card draw from Luminosity is going to provide. Let's listen in as their Kazakus potion's underway.
5-5, pretty good with it.
Yeah.
But do we want to take the maybe like a Mystic Wool?
I think we want this.
Yeah, okay.
Do we make the bump now that we got the +4 health? I think we do. We have a PO.
Okay.
Like the argument against it is Holy Nova.
But they really want to coin like
That's
operative.
okay
get
if
it
they
out
Holy Nova.
now.
Yeah.
But discovering 2 cards is better, right?
From Historian, we can get Nefarian. Double our chances.
We play. I think we play Historian in here.
Yeah, I like Historian. Wait.
Operative. Are we not playing it now? Healing is better than playing a Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, right.
No, just play
operative.
operative, yeah.
Nefarian.
Do we pick Nefarian?
Yeah.
I think we take Nefarian here.
Yeah.
And then
Trade and heal? I don't know.
trade Bran and heal the Bran.
I think we Shadow Pain the Kazakus and we trade with 2-2 and we go face with Bran. If they play Doomsayer, we're still gonna play the Crusher, the operative. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Alright, I don't know if this made sense, but I liked it.
Potion's really good, right?
Yeah.
Then we can't clear the Bran.
I can live with
they
that.
would have coined operative
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
They would have coined operative
Yeah,
every
but
single
now
time.
but now they have operative for sure.
We
Yeah.
potion this
They
turn,
just
we
got-
PO Shadowflame next turn.
Yeah, I like that. Like
They're gonna like death
If they
our
operative,
5-9.
if they operative into our board this huge, they
so
just
you
lose
want
too much tempo.
You want a Kazakus potion.
Yeah, they lose too much tempo if they
And how are we
operative.
trading?
Alright, let's say we don't Kazakus Potion. What would the
No,
play
I
be?
like the Kazakus
Yeah.
potion. It makes a lot of sense.
Do we ever bump the 2 first?
No,
Yeah,
that makes
you're
no
right, you're
sense.
right.
It's just 3-1
Okay,
into.
how are we
That makes more
trading
sense.
here?
It's just the 3 and the 1 into that, and then the imp gang into the 1-3, right?
Into the Bran, I think, right?
No,
I like the
think.
brand better.
Well, I think a lot of times we're gonna like PO Shadow Flame next turn,
Yeah, but what if we don't?
right?
I mean, we don't have many good plays, but we have like Siphon. Is 1 health on our gang boss that relevant?
I like bumping into the brand.
I like the Brand too. It's not like they have a good Holy Nova no matter what. Okay.
Like operative is way too slow here.
Lots of debate from Luminosity. You know, interesting to see that they're really going for sort of that tempo plan with the 5-mana Kazakus potion, which means they know that their Warlock deck is a little bit greedier. They have a lot more removal in the later portions of the game with Fellfire potions, so they realized that they just needed to get that tempo right away.
Yeah, I mean, look at their hand. If they can go 1 for 1 on board, they've almost got this in the bag.
Sure, yeah.
Virtus.Pro's tools, they're very strong, but they're situational at the same time. I mean, you heard Frozen saying it. Operative's going to give up too much tempo here. And with the Dragonfire Potion, I think they can now afford to give up that tempo. But he's right. It gives up a lot of tempo here.
Oh, Leroy Jenkins picked up. I mentioned that earlier. That can be a way that Priest wins this match. Now, that's if they pick it. They could pick Spellbreaker as well, but you got to go for the burst. They don't get another burst card to go along with it, though. They get Leroy and Blast Crystal Potions to go. So that's actually really good. That's hard removal that they don't have access to in their hand right now, outside of Shadow or Death. So, I don't know. Even though Warlock has a lot of tools, look at that hand from Virtus.Pro.
It's definitely
That is value for days.
Both the hands are super strong. To me, that's really what I'm looking at is this value battle is going to continue and for a very long time. Neither team is running out of gas anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think this leads to Luminosity having initiative at the end of it, but I don't think that's such a bad thing for Virtus.Pro. You know, they're not so much worried about Luminosity having the board as much as they are worried about just completely running out of stuff to do. They took that Nefarian in anticipation of Jiraxis later on.
Yeah.
And Luminosity is going to take full advantage of this. They're going to start the push, and this means Dragonfire Potion much weaker.
Much weaker. And also, they get to cycle with the coil, whereas Siphon Soul would have had to force them to trade on board, which would mean they weren't pushing damage.
Oh, we forgot about that.
10 card. I think the
double discover.
Yeah, I think they knew they were willing to trade a random card in their deck for a random card in their opponent's deck that they got to choose. But let's go and listen to Virtus.Pro and hear if that was an intentional discard.
You can also play Potion on 5/9 and play Pain. Yeah, I like it. Potion on 5/9? No, we don't really want to play Pain because we have Liu in our hand.
I think I do this, right?
Yeah.
And then coin Twilight Drake.
Yes.
Never 4-10 with Priest.
But it's pretty good. We put them to 10 that way. If we Siphon, we put them to 10 as well. Abyssal makes the most sense.
They use the Death.
We've got a Fellfire still.
Yeah, and we have a lot of burn.
And it goes into their Rag, or no, we're not going into the Rag turn anymore.
I wonder.
Okay, so they still have all of the cards we talked about. They used the coin. We drew Hellfire and Rat. Yeah, I like the Abyssal.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, can I see our deck?
You see what?
Okay.
Fade out the second death. They can never beat Rag.
The second death is really slow.
They've got their own Rag.
The second death is really slow.
If our Rag connects face, we win. 100%.
But if they don't death, it's also really slow, so.
Yeah, we're really good. We're really good here.
Yeah.
We can play Nefarian on his Jiraxus.
Yeah, but we have to still do it.
Yeah.
Are you mocking me?
It's looking grim.
I think that's a big understatement.
It's looking real grim. Is that an understatement, admirable?
Yes.
Well,
I like the tap here, actually.
yeah. They can develop Rag, though.
They just saw the Virtus.Pro lose a mana, though. That Blast Crystal. I just like Shadow Bolt. I think Shadow Bolt's good here.
Sure.
Imp Gang Boss has gone uncontested since turn 3. It's not dying anytime soon, I don't think. And if Virtus.Pro's turn 7 was Blast Crystal Wormrust Agent, what's going to be their next turn 7 into the almost exact same board?
Yeah.
You know, they went parity with the Abyssal Enforcer. It's not there anymore, so they get to develop, but if they develop freely, then you have Hellfire and Felfire.
This is pretty tough. I
That's
don't know.
fine, too. But
Yeah.
I mean, their read is the hard removal's gone. They just saw Blast Crystal instead of Shadow Word Death. How can Shadow Word Death
And if
beat
Rag goes face, they do set up for almost a guaranteed 2-turn lethal with Felfire Potion because it put him down to 2. I think putting a Rag on the board is like, in that situation, your opponent's at 10, they have 1 minion on the board.
Fair enough.
That's such a power play.
I didn't really consider how strong it was to just actually hit the Wormrust Agent.
Yeah,
I see it hurt the Wormrust Agent.
both are good. Either pretty much sets you up for almost a guaranteed win,
Yeah.
essentially. If you hit face, unless they have like picked up, they have weird amounts of heal in their deck, or I don't even know what could get them from 2 to 6 to play around Felfire Potion. But
Those are the kinds of situations that pros are always trying to recognize with Ragnaros too. When is it good just no matter what I hit? But then the other side of that is when you're super desperate and Rag is, 20% chance to hit the right target, and you need to hit that shot. Is it better to do something else, or is it better to hope for the Rag? I mean, the middling between options where you have like 2 of your targets are good, 1 of your targets are bad, that's usually like the most common time that Rag gets played, and there's not much argument for it.
yeah. Well, it looks like it's going to be oh, man, that is a rough play. If that's their best play, I don't know. That's rough. But that is going to be game with the, well, I guess there were a few ways there to guarantee it. No, this is the way. All right, well, Luminosity is going to take the game. Now they're up 3-1 in the series. Virtus.Pro is on the back foot. But if we remember back to the series that they played during the regular season, Virtus.Pro fell down 3-0 instead of 3-1 and were still able to come back and win the series. So don't count them out yet. Luminosity's got a lead, but they can't get comfortable.
That's true. But mind you, that win was with 5 games straight with Reno Warlock.
And that's out of the picture.
Yeah, Reno Warlock lost game 2. And that, again, that was my big concern. I think that if you just play out the rest of these games and they go, pretty even back and forth, that Luminosity edges it out because there's no Warlock to counter. They're heavy anti-control hitters at this point.
And as you can see, Luminosity still a wealth of options for them. Virtus.Pro, on the other hand, their options are starting to dwindle as what they can play to counter these decks. They have Mage, Shaman, and Paladin. Paladin and Mage, pretty much, most kinds of mages can do well against the Warlock. So they have the options. It's just, can they make it happen?
Right, the Warlock's done its job for Luminosity at this point. It took out Priest very handedly, and if the Mage doesn't get the job done, say it is Reno Mage, and say it's like a low burst Reno Mage, I don't know about that. Now, Freeze Mage and Tempo Mage, I think both of those could get the job done, but say it's Tempo Mage that's more aggressive rather than the Emperor and Archmage package. There's a lot of things to consider here, and I think that the Mage build is probably the next key.
Yeah. All right, well, giving the players a small breather here at the Trinity Arena. But let's go ahead and send it over back to Trinity tonight with Frodan, who's standing by with the Complexity Boys.
Thank you very much, TJ and Hannibal, and a nice little break for Luminosity and Virtus.Pro. They're slugging it back and forth, and while they take a few minutes to collect themselves and plan for their next game in the best of 11, I have Complexity joining me on the couch, just watching the games. What do you guys think of the match so far? You guys have been watching along the couches in the green room. Any opinions on the match? Tossing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Luminosity got the first break with the double win. Basically, when you win a game where the other team is trying to counter you, that's a big break. So it's to them.
Yeah, I mean, the mid-range Shaman able to even defeat some of the decks that people really want to counter with, Reno Warlock, for example. But that's just kind of how it is. The matchups are pretty close. I don't think it's super one-sided in favor. So do you guys feel like Luminosity is just like in a really down position, and they're like, what do you think the percentages there are to win from this point on, JJ?
Should be around 69%. I don't know. I think we're definitely favored. Yeah, should be fine. And yeah, I think.
Some exact calculations coming out from JJ. If you guys won your match, who would you rather play against, Luminosity or Virtus.Pro, or does it not matter?
It really doesn't matter. I mean,
anyone.
look at us. We are just very confident. We just had a photo shoot.
I like it. I like it. Well, you guys are confident in your Hearthstone skills. It seems like you guys are confident in each other. Now let's go ahead and see if you guys truly know each other on a next level. We're going to use this opportunity to do a segment that we like to call Who's That Pro? You may have seen it during the breaks throughout the regular season. We're going to do a live segment right now with the players, and hopefully it goes well. The basic gist of it is we are going to read you guys a quote, exactly word for word what one of you said during the regular season, during the matches. And you'll see if you're able to target it down and see which of you were able to say it. So you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, you should do the pronunciation with the language and stuff.
They asked me to be straight. I'm not going to try to do an accent. I think the accent gives it away.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so the first quote, I think they're going to throw it up on screen after. It says, quote, I mean, the war leader has some upside against the feral. They have to trade. End quote.
Sounds like
Crane.
something I would say, yeah.
Yeah, it's Crane. It's definitely Crane.
Is it Crane? Let's see the clip here.
I mean, the war leader has some upside against the feral. He would have to trade, but
yeah, that's.
I like getting that right down. That's the next, right?
It's very straight. It's very analytical. It makes sense that it's Crane.
Yeah.
All right, that was an easy one. We just want to see how you guys really felt about that. The second one's a little bit harder. Quote. Then we have Murloc Blue Grill for something. We wait, I guess. End quote.
That's probably me, right?
Is it?
I have player Warlock Blue Grill. I mean, Grill was really Grill. I mean, when I probably said that. I mean.
Well, it might have been yes. So.
So you're going with JJ?
No, what was when we have Warlock Blue?
Then we have Murloc Blue Grill for something. We wait, I guess.
No, it has to be me. It
was you, right? It was you, actually. I think so as well.
All right, Mr. Yag, let's go ahead and check the clip out.
Yeah, and then we have Murloc Blue Grill for something we wait, I guess.
That's deliberate, right? You keep saying Blue Grill for a reason.
Yeah.
It has to be a little.
I think actually it was.
Right. Because we got some blue Jills, we got some blue Yills. I wasn't sure. You guys were.
I say blue Jill. I think.
Just to trigger everyone. All right. Well, here's where it starts getting a little bit elaborate. Well, I'm gonna try to see if I can do this right. Airplane noises. Doof, doof, doof. And now we are the aggressor, comma, Mr. Dragon Priest.
Yeah,
what do you think
I
about
mean,
that?
And that was the hard one, yeah? I mean, there's only one.
Let's just go ahead and roll the clip. We all know who said this.
Oh yeah, give us this 28 juicy. Oh, I feel so good.
Oh my god.
Oh, greetings. And when we oh, is someone rich?
Gonna be rich.
So sick.
Yeah, that was the wrong clip.
It was probably the wrong.
Yeah, give us the 28 juicy. Oh, I feel so. Whoa. Oh, greetings. And oh, is someone rich? Do. JJ, you're so animated, man. That's why people love you. I think it's because you've been hanging out with Life Coach so much, right? You're starting to even get the hand motions, like the oh yeah, oh yeah, oh.
It depends. His role playing is a bit different. His role playing is like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just something different. I can't catch up with him at this point, but yeah.
I love it. I love it. He's like an evil wizard casting a spell over, his little orb or his little mystic globe. And I feel like you guys rub off on each other, which makes it really infectious. It's really cool. All right, well, that was our segments with Who's That Pro. We're going to be playing a lot more throughout the weekend, as well as other fun stuff while I think we are ready for the next match between Luminosity versus Pro. So let's once again go ahead and check in with TJ and Admirable.
Doof. Who's the aggressor now, Admirable?
Mr. Dragon Priest.
Mr. Dragon Priest, that's right. Dragon Priest not the aggressor in the last series, though, as we saw it fall to Luminosity's Reno Warlock. They're going to continue on that. We're going to jump back into the series in just a few moments. The players have taken a breather, gotten to head off stage a little bit, regroup, and maybe this is what Virtus.Pro needs. They haven't looked too strong as of now in this series, but they've fallen behind in many of their series throughout the regular season, and they managed to come back. And even just their road through the regular season in general, they started off with a rough record at the beginning of the season and were able to bring it back and just qualify for these playoffs, for these live finals. So it's sort of their identity as a team in the Trinity Series.
It's that tone setter in Game 1. Shaman from Luminosity defeating Virtus.Pro's Druid. That was such a big win for them to get off on the right foot. I mean, having that deck not available to counter any of the slower decks from Luminosity is a very big deal. And that's where Virtus.Pro's often found themselves, is dropping game number 1 and then having to pick up the pieces. But as we get into game number 5 here, it is a tempo mage. And that's the kind of deck they're going to need to beat this Warlock here.
Yeah, gets on the board early, lots of cycle, and lots of damage from hand. Those are the types of things that Arena Warlock can really struggle with. They have lots of board removal. They have lots of tools to, you know, stifle the board and get to those big late game turns or get to that Reno turn. But Tempo Mage sometimes doesn't give them that luxury. It's sort of like a wild card deck in a sense that it doesn't really hard counter anything, but it doesn't necessarily get hard countered by anything. It can really do a lot of things. It can have a slow start and then blow you out with a Flame Waker. It can have an explosive start with Mana Worm and just end the game early. And it can also play the value game with Archmage Antonidas, with Ragnaros. So it's definitely a deck that Reno Warlock, which has inconsistent tools, because they have one-ofs of everything, can struggle to deal with at times.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those struggle ones. Tempo Mage, not typically a deck that wants to have a blistering start. Oftentimes it's looking to slow the game down and swing the board turn 4, turn 5. But it does have that potential, and this is one of those potentials. Let's listen to Luminosity as their opening hand is a little bit rough.
Attack.
Their hand is Mulligan, Keep, turn 1.
Yeah, and then turn 2.
So many possibilities.
No.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Well, I think we need to jam the Sun
Yeah,
Fury,
Sun
right?
Fury. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shields up.
I think we do.
Yeah, I think we do.
We just we just go.
Yeah, we just go. Yeah, true. Make sure to hit it. Yeah.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Right, nice.
Okay.
All right, let me write our hand down. Hold on.
Just Bruiser.
Yes, Bruiser.
All right.
I'm not ready.
Ah! Look at this turn.
This turn good?
This turn good?
Yeah.
I don't know. Vote yes or no in the match. Is this turn good? Yes or no? That's what I.
Yeah, well, so again, guys, we're still doing the Twitch chat polling. Right now, we still have the poll up for Luminosity or Virtus.Pro. Who do you think will win, or who do you want to win? Just spam it in chat. Spam to your little heart's content. Every voice matters. All 504 of you Luminosity fans and all 189 of you Virtus.Pro fans. Every voice matters.
What do you? It's good that they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is about as straightforward as it gets.
Yep, they even have reload, sort of reload with Acolyte of Pain. You know, next turn, even if they just Acolyte of Pain ping, they have Arcane Blast followed up with more missiles from the Flame Waker. But this is those blistering starts that I was talking about. Luminosity's already down to 13. Even if they had Reno, it would come next turn. They are dead. They have to Blast Crystal Potion, the Flame Waker, and then they delay Reno by a turn. I don't think there's a way. They're dead. How dead are they?
Very dead. Vote in the chat.
Tweet at us. Let us know how dead they are.
ESL Hearthstone # Trinity Series.
Yes, indeed.
That's Tempo Mage.
Yeah.
Dude.
What do they even do? What can they even pick up next turn?
They're a victim of the opening hands here, and that's part of Hearthstone.
Oh, here's a Burgley bully.
Virtus.Pro had their success rate. They had Mana Worm, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Flame Waker. None of them were contested. that is game over when that
Oh, they drew the Reno. They would have died, I think.
Oh, they 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 8. There's 9
actually,
on board.
They wouldn't have died this turn. They would have died.
They died to Frostbolt. They died to Arcane Missiles. They died to basically Arcane Intellect.
Any other cheap spell. Luminosity taps out. Don't blink because you missed that series. That was a quick one.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's the comeback that they needed in this game. If they were going to win this series, they needed to win this game. I think it's by far the most crucial one. Let's set.
Let's take a look back at the history of the Trinity Series. In all 7 weeks, there were 2 teams that had weeks that they swept with Mage, that they got all 6 of their wins in that week with Mage. And they're sitting on stage right now. It's Luminosity and Virtus.Pro. So if any teams are going to have success with Mage, it's these 2 teams. And I was talking to Virtus.Pro when they came in today, and they said pretty much every single time they went into a Trinity Series match, they're like, hey, Dr. Hippie, carry us. Carry us with your Mage. They're like, we're going to rely on Dr. Hippie being good. And, well, it might work now. If they can get a streak going with this Mage, they're poised to take the series.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And the Tempo Mage being the deck, I think spells good things for them because that's a Priest, which that's about the only one that's going to work well versus Tempo Mage. Paladin, Druid, maybe another Tempo Mage.
Now, Priest is...
That's 50-50 right there.
Priest is like... If there was a sort of a counter to Tempo Mage, I think Priest would be the one.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close, yeah. Priest...
Shaman and Pirate Warrior would be the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with, a Sorcerer's Apprentice if your opponent plays a Worm Rest Agent? It's like, well, either you have to trade and ping, or you have to have exactly Frostbolt. I mean, they just curve out, and curving out is the way you beat Tempo Mage, because they have to have the perfect removal, and you just have to have early stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's a compounded issue with the way that Tempo Mage actually interacts with minions. All of its spells that remove minions are damage oriented. And the whole goal of Dragon Priest is to just have very high health efficient minions. Fireballs and Frostbolts eventually don't match up that well. And so if you're not able to deliver a lot of damage throughout the course of the game and set them to a dangerous life total, those burn spells start to become much less efficient as the game goes on. And that's one of the reasons that the Priest has that big advantage.
Well, we'll see. Luminosity still has options here. Maybe they feel like the Priest is going to have to be played later on to maybe... actually, I don't know. The Druid's out of the way, so that actually opens up a world of opportunity for the Priests. Like 3 of the decks that prey on Priest are out of the way, or 4 of the decks that prey on Priest are out of the way. Druid, Warlock, and then Warrior and Rogue are banned. Those are the 4 decks that do the best against Dragon Priest in the lineup. So I don't know. This one's tough.
I talk a lot about how I think Druid is favored against Dragon Priest. Talking to the professionals that are here, they don't necessarily agree with that. Some of them think it is Priest favored. Some of them think it's very close.
You have to play a different style of Priest when you're playing against Druid, and that's what I think trips people up. A lot of times Dragon Priest is about value. It's about making good trades, utilizing your hero power. Against Druid, it's basically just go face. It's basically be the aggressor. And Luminosity is going to go with that Dragon Priest, and Virtus.Pro, we're getting some valuable information here about their Tempo Mage deck.
Yeah, this tells the whole story here.
Yeah, Emperor Thorsan, Ragnaros the Fire Lord, and Barnes. That indicates there's also an Archmage at Tinnitus. It's sort of that little bit of a greedier style list, not necessarily as much like card draw, maybe 1 Acolyte of Pain, I'd say, but definitely going full in on sort of that late game package that you need to beat some of the decks that you're going to find in these lineups.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Tempo Mage list that the GNC crew ran at Summer Championships last year, or Summer Playoffs last year.
Theirs did top out at the Firelance Portal Archmage and Tinnitus. It didn't have the Rag, so slightly different, but that was the first deck to start using Firelance Portal.
I think it was Flo had the Rag. I believe.
Maybe. I tend to remember it topping out at 7. But
the point I wanted to get to there is they named the deck not Tempo Mage.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why was because the deck very often just played a value-oriented game plan. You simply tried to just go 1-for-1 with your opponent until you got your major power turns. It doesn't always have to play the style that we saw last game where it ends the game super early. This deck has a lot of potential to go to the lane.
Yeah, to be honest, that style of Tempo Mage has sort of gone away, and Tempo is sort of a muddled term that, a lot of people throw around. Brian Kibler, who we had in the Trinity Series early on, always gets triggered whenever people call things Tempo. but that aren't tempo. And, you know, they cut things like Forgotten Torch a lot of the times in List now to make room for that bigger stuff, the more value-oriented stuff, where Forgotten Torch is value, but it can also be incredible tempo because it gives you more early removal to deal with small stuff.
Yeah, sort of the idea behind tempo is that you call a deck tempo when what it's trying to do is always dictate the pace on its own terms. Obviously, every deck at some stage is trying to do that, but oftentimes decks don't have dedicated plans to that. They have to mold their resources according to the situation. Almost everything in this deck, in some way or another, is a tempo-oriented game plan. Where, like, look at Priest, for instance, though. It's a lot of one-for-one answers, a lot of value cards. Not nearly as much tempo. It's you know, Blackwing Corruptor is your major tempo card.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Mage can do, which this hand for Virtus.Pro is sort of playing towards, is explosive turns. You mentioned that turn 5, turn 6 power swing with Flamewaker, Coin, cheap spells. Dragon Priest, that's harder to do because a lot of times they're buffing the health of their minions, so there's more health spread across the board, so the missiles are less effective. But we'll have to see. They coin out a Flamewaker right now, so let's go now and listen into Luminosity, see what they think of this play.
So we could draw a card off the girl, or we could tempo Bran.
No, you Bran.
Yeah.
Going into an Argus turn.
So you think for a bit and you Bran. Well, it mostly just denies their turn a bit too. I mean, they're gonna go spell next turn, but now they have 2 priority targets.
Yeah, I think so.
And then they might have to bump, and then we can Argus and trade.
Well, you don't think they're clearing?
No. It's 9 points of health.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
With Frostbolt, maybe playing Arcane Blast is maybe better.
Maybe second Flamewaker.
No, we need to kill Barons.
No, wait. To kill Barons.
Wait, we don't really need to kill it. If they go with what? Nerve Spike Historian, that's fine for us, because they're just gonna try to dig for low-cost minions.
But also taking board is also good. We can just Frostbolt.
I like Frostbolt Blast. We can play
Frostbolt on Barnes, right?
Why don't we play Flamebreaker? If they play the Twilight Guardian, it becomes 4/6. The next turn we're gonna Frostbolt and Arcane Blast. They didn't have Shadow Pain.
But then I probably want to go play Barnes next turns.
I mean, keeping Barnes on the board, I'm totally fine with that right now.
You play just this.
I mean, I like playing Flamebreaker. Yeah, just a good phrase. They showed that it didn't have Shadow Pain.
We can save Barons for later.
Yeah.
Play it with to get Antonius, let's say. Play some spells.
They
pretty good.
Yeah.
Which Flamewaker do we kill?
You kill the one that was there. That way his brother knows what's coming.
Do you want to bump this? Because I do.
I don't want to bump. Why are we bumping?
We have Corruptor, right?
We can Corruptor trade 2/3. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't bump.
I don't think so.
Well, like they have
it gives
Fireball.
Them more damage. Like it allows the Waker to deal more damage.
Fireball's a reason to bump.
No, Fireball's a reason not to, right?
It's a reason not to.
They have to hit like a 1 and 4 or something.
2 shots at a 1 and 4, yeah.
Yeah.
But they kind of want to fireball the Bran.
Right. And then they can't clear the.
Yeah. Don't bump.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't.
Like if they develop a minion, we blow them out with the Corruptor, right?
Yeah.
Who has the better memes? Vote in Twitch chat now.
Chalky
or Zalay? That's pretty one-sided. That's a blowout.
Zalay's got some great ones, but I mean, he's against the king.
Jockey, #1 arena player and #1 memer.
I really like where Virtus.Pro went with the turn, but they did not discuss the potential for Defender of Argus. That is a tech choice that is not commonly found, but it is definitely a consideration. And that was Luminosity's big payoff card, was that Defender of Argus. DOA, dead on arrival, basically. This is going to be incredibly difficult for Virtus.Pro to win at this point.
Oh, they're really hoping for this missile to hit the Bran. They nail it. But their Flamewaker is going to bite the dust here from the Blackwing Corruptor, and that's both their Flamewakers gone. So those swing turns that we talked about are gone. Now they do have Azure Drake Vault, they have Barnes Vault, and they have Firelance Portal. So their hand in order to play the mid game out is actually quite strong. But they did give up a lot of resources. They did not think about that Defender of Argus, and you could see Bunny Hopper's reaction when he saw it come out. He reeled his head back in disgust.
Well, this is an interesting turn here from Luminosity with the Corruptor. I mean, I think there was some merit here to Azure Drake or to the Twilight Drake as well. They made his turn pretty quick. If Virtus.Pro had Fireball, they certainly would have used it last turn. Now at this point, they've used Arcane Blast. You saw them float 1 mana instead of casting anything relevant. Maybe they just didn't have anything. Let's listen to Virtus.Pro and hear what their thoughts are on the game state.
Emperor for Barons. Yeah, but we have still a lot of minions. I think yeah, Drake is better, yeah, just not to risk. Yeah. Still have chances.
Okay. There's your Drake.
So draw a card.
There's no way we can ignore that, right?
No, it's just too good.
You're right.
So healer girl.
Yeah.
We might go 3-5 and 1 drop, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. We might do that.
Well, we might hit a powered shield off this for the.
Or Talon Priest.
So Drake is a 4/6.
Or 3-5 and a 2-3 on turn 6.
Well,
that shrinks our Drake.
Shrinks our Drake. Yeah, Drake's never getting better. They're going into 6, which is like Emperor, so we're gonna death that.
If we play the Whelp.
No, I think we're supposed to Twilight Drake.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're gonna Death Emperor, I think. We could.
I think Drake's right. Like, it's worse against Emperor, but it's right in general.
Yeah.
Emperor's not that likely. I do think it's in their list, but they don't.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Были? Yeah, были. I mean, like, for Bars, Temper now doesn't really help us that much.
I like Bully.
Yeah, Bully. The thing is only Emperor from Barons. Yeah, but would have helped the previous turn, now there, it just doesn't matter. We have a lot of minions in hand, in deck. Double mana Wyrm, another Sorcerer.
Burglary Bully actually ends up being a pretty big pickup here because it forces Luminosity to trade on board. And that might give them some room to be able to make a swing with Firelands Portal the following turn.
I'm looking at a damage push here. I mean, Virtus.Pro just did nothing to Luminosity's board, and Burglary Bully is really not that scary. You know, by itself, it is threatening to attack very efficiently, but Northshire Cleric's stopping it.
Yeah, it is a, you know...
I think I like just going face and starting the push.
That's true, yeah. You put them down to 15, and you can develop a pretty big board, but the question is you sort of block yourself from being able to use spells in that case, and you open yourselves up to, you know, getting like spot removed on the board, sort of. I don't know.
I'm looking at Flame Strike being pretty good now.
Yeah, Flame Strike could be pretty good. Flame Strike was a card that was pretty rare in Tempo Mage throughout the regular season, but when it hit, boy did it hit. So the teams that brought it in their list were definitely rewarded for it at times.
Yeah, it's not here, so that's the good news for Luminosity. But
Are you mocking me?
I'm curious what the read is. Like, that's a bold play. I guess you keep a 3-1 around and you have Azure Drake. It's not the worst, but and this opens you up to winning the game when Flame Strike's not there. Like, when Flame Strike isn't there, you do win the game here.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it has to be a Firelands Portal. They don't have... you heard Dr. Hippie mention pretty much the only good pickup from Barnes is Emperor Thorsan. They still have a ton of minions left in their deck. And you can't really afford to play small minions because it opens you up to a Holy Nova. So they're going to Firelands Portal. Looks like they're going to with the higher attack. That has potential to be good up. That's actually a pretty good pickup. It is vulnerable to Shadow or Death, but maybe that opens up opportunities for you to play Rag. It you know, gives less mana to your opponent if they decide to go that route to develop minions.
At this point, Luminosity now 100% knows that there is no Flame Strike from Virtus.Pro. So they are free to mold their game plan accordingly. And for them, it's going to be value, value, value. I think this is going to help them decide whether or not they want a Shadow or Death on this turn. I think they will, because protecting the Cleric is definitely looks priority to them right now. But we've seen Ragnaros do some disgusting things versus Priest. I mean, that's the one thing Priest is really lacking is a burst plan that can take advantage of the fact that you're getting this damage out.
Yeah, and Luminosity just drawing so many cards off this Northfair Cleric, buffing that up to a 3. Well, now it's a 3/9 potentially.
This is the
Field all the way
consideration
up.
here for Ragnaros as well. Get them as wide as they can on board. There's no Flame Strike there. Now they start their push. They bought that extra value. Board looks even stronger.
And this looks like it's going to be pretty lights out for Virtus.Pro. They don't have that potential to Sorcerer's Apprentice, Arcane Intellect into Flamewaker plus cheap spells. They wouldn't even have the mana to be able to play much if they drew it. So they got a Rag, and I don't know, even if this hits best, it would face!
That's the worst.
Now, it's not lethal on board, but that is by far the worst outcome.
Yeah, and part of the reason it's the worst outcome is because their hand. If they had 2 Fireballs in hand, maybe not the worst outcome, because then you have a chance to win. Double Fireball face, Ragnaros hits again.
Trust in Senor del Fuego.
Yeah, but at this stage, they don't have the burn, and so that shot is quite literally the worst. If they had 2 Fireballs, honestly, that might have even just been the best shot for them. Like, how often are they really going to win the game from this position?
Yeah, and now Luminosity just going to develop, start pushing that damage, going to put Virtus.Pro all the way down to 2. Ragnaros on a full board like this is not useless, but he's not too useful.
It's pretty useless right now. Again, Virtus.Pro would need double Fireball to have a chance here. Instantly.
Honorable. They're giving up information that there's a second Frostbolt in the deck. Oh no, but that's going to be Luminosity taking the game. They go 4-2 now in the series. This is, as you get further into the series, you start getting to the point where you start having less options to counter decks. Early on in the series, you fall behind, you have a lot of options. You can come back easily. We've seen Virtus.Pro do it time and time again. Delay's he's chilling. He's stretching, showing off those guns.
I got 2 tickets to the show.
The gun show.
I paid $300 for those bad boys. Just to see his biceps. I got ripped off. Could have just seen him for free like everyone else is.
Well, Luminosity now still, again, lots of options at their disposal should their Dragon Priest lose. It is kind of set up for success, though. If we take a look at the side of Virtus.Pro and what they have remaining, it's Paladin and Shaman. Now, Shaman can do well against the Dragon Priest, but it depends on what kind of build it is. There's actually a lot of viable Shaman builds right now. There's straight up Jade Shaman with full Jade package. There's mid-range Shaman. There's a mid-range Shaman with a sprinkling of Jades. There's a Devolve Shaman that you can play, which is sort of a mid-rangey type, but more on the control style. And there's Aggro Shaman. Aggro Shaman's still alive. It's still floating out there.
That's honestly one of the ones I think is going to perform better against Priest too, is Aggro Shaman.
Yeah.
That deck still has a lot of gas, and Flame Tongue Totem is still just about as punishing as it was before. You don't have the same consistency in your early game because Small Time Buccaneer is weaker, but Priest is one of the classes that Buccaneer is still good against.
A lot of the aggressive Shamans have, either eliminated the Pirate package and gone for more of the burn style with Doomhammer Rockbiter, or they've sort of traded out Small Time Buccaneers for double Southsea Deckhand in that. But the way that Aggro Shaman works without Small Time Buccaneer being 2 health is quite a bit different. It's not like, Pirate Warrior where they have so many early game pirates. They have Nizos First Mate. It's not like Rogue where they have Swashbuckler to make it up. They have to rely on those neutral pirates, and so a lot of times the pirate package is just eliminated. But Virtus.Pro, we've seen a lot of the players on that team. I mean, of course, last year, all 3 of these guys had a ton of success in the Hearthstone Championship Tour, which was all about bringing the best decks, not about necessarily countering your opponents. Aggro Shaman was in their repertoire all last season. This is going to be, there's a Devolve in there. So
this is an interesting matchup. I mean, Virtus.Pro, their deck is very much reliant on not only getting something on board to get value from, but also finding card draw. Card draw is essential for them to beat Luminosity because Luminosity has such efficient cards. So getting an uncontested Tunnel Trot, getting an uncontested Totem Golem, those are 2 big deals for them. Devolve is a tech card that is aimed at situations like this where your opponent is stacking a lot onto undercosted, over-efficient minions. Devolve performs very well there. It also is a great tech choice for Finja if that shows up. One of the only playable ways to interact with the stealthed minion at this point.
Yeah, it's an untargeted transform effect, which is very unique for what it does. And we've seen it destroy Paladin decks. Not only Finja, but just, you know, Murloc Paladin in general. If you devolve a board with a couple Murlocs on it, it eliminates sort of anything can happen from that threat, that pool of threats. So.
And we've mentioned how popular that deck has been.
In the Trinity Series, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point.
So I'd like the tech choice, maybe just a one of. Probably two of, because the couple times we've seen Devolve and Shaman in the Trinity Series, it has been a two of, because you can have a deck in your lineup that specifically counters like very few decks. That is a strategy you can go for. That is not a great opening. They have pretty much all of their transform effects, their hexes, and their Devolve in their opening hand. Now they're going to be able to deal with all the threats Luminosity puts out, but will they be able to develop their own board enough to sort of stifle enough of the pressure from Luminosity?
Well, the Northshire Cleric is operating very, very well here in this spot, and Devolve not strong enough to get the play done here. And you mentioned you like the tech choice. I personally have seen this be an impact in matchups like this one, but for the most part, I think Devolve is just not a good choice. The way that that Shaman wants to operate is go on a 1-for-1 basis and eventually get strong 2-for-1s. Devolve, not even anywhere close to that game plan. I mean, it's meant to do something very specific, and how needed is that effect? I personally don't like it. Let's listen to Virtus.Pro as their turn is tough.
What about Devolve? Yeah, I like Devolve.
I think you devolved this, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Devolve.
Probably have, just bad.
Coin Guardian. Or we can go Brand Coin Shield. I like that.
Yeah, we shield coin Brand.
Well, they're going straight into a Jade.
No, we shield the Brand. We shield the Brand.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh.
They're going into Jade Lightning turn, so like
Don't shield
you
coin.
never put out a 4 health guy.
So it's either we go Brand Coin Shield, or we go Coin Guardian.
So do we want
I just
a
like
3/6 or a 2/6 Brand?
I just like Guardian. We don't have any
do
punish
too.
with
I do
Brand. Like, yeah, they're gonna be like, oh no, but then we don't have anything to do.
The 3 attacks are relevant for like Tide and stuff. There's a lot
4
of
attacks
things.
might be. Yeah.
No, just play the Guardian for sure.
No, 3 is a really key number.
Yeah, they have
not.
no good
4.
answer.
So is 4. But like next turn, but I don't think it matters that much. Like they would still hex this if they have to.
Yeah, of course. This is like a good hex target for them. And then we go Brand Shield.
No, just rock a hex. No, for sure. Just hex and rock.
Rock Hex, yeah.
That's fine, I guess. Alright,
shield.
so you go Brand.
We could
no,
shield
you
the
shield the
Brand,
Brand.
we
You shield the
still
Brand.
shield the Brand.
Jeez. Yeah. Of course. Is there any merit to just Guardianing? It challenges the Trogon board, right?
That is the merit. That's a lot of merit.
That's a lot of merit. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, it saves the flexibility of the
What do
power
we
shield.
do if they go Azure Drake?
We get to bump the Trog. It's good.
We fist pump.
That's the Guardian.
Okay.
So what else are they doing on 5?
That's the only 5 Shaman has.
Thunder Bluff sometimes.
Like, we assume they're just playing standard Jade grade stuff.
We just need 3 attack.
I think it's important to trade into their stuff for Flame Tongue, because that's one of the ways we can lose.
Yeah.
We're pretty ahead right now.
Well, I don't know when Luminosity is going to shield that Brand, but they really want to every turn, and every turn they have to convince themselves not to.
Shield the frog!
Shield. Yeah, Admiral and I were joking during the break that they should shield the frog to protect it, but won't even protect it really. Well, it'll protect it, but
shield the frog.
Shield the frog.
Shield the frog.
Shield the frog.
Shield frog.
Shield frog.
Shield frog.
New Hearthstone hero. Shield frog.
Plays a pivotal role in the future Azeroth.
Yep. All right, well, that's both hexes down now for Virtus.Pro. Devolve and both hexes down. Now, Devolve in this matchup's kind of just like an AoE, sort of. You know, it doesn't. There's not really any minions that you really need to like transform because of their effect. You're really just trying to reduce the power on board, and in that case, it's just sort of like an extra AoE, similar to Lightning Storm. You know, the one that they played earlier did eliminate the Northshire Cleric on board. But how much of an effect did it really have? But now Luminosity is sort of back to square one. The board is sort of, you know, stabilized out. Now let's see what they decide to go for here. Are they finally going to shield them? There it is. The brand has been shielded. Now this one's the brand.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like they're going to have to Shadow Word Death this turn. They obviously don't know that right now, but they certainly at some point are anticipating Thing from Below.
Yeah. Now that pickup allows Virtus.Pro to go Totem up, Totem Golem, and Thing from Below, or Totem up, Flame Tongue Totem, Thing from Below. So their hand has a lot of synergy. Now, will this be enough to get them on the board? They can clear off the Northshire Cleric, get that value trade into it, Flame Tongue, and protect it with Thing from Below. But they're not reaching that brand. That brand's going to stick on board. How much can they get punished for it?
Yeah, I think you have to play the Totem Golem in this spot, given the brand threatening so much here. So Flame Tongue is, I mean, that one's obvious. This is free. And
now it's, well, Totem Golem plus Totem Up allows them to double Thing from Below next turn, which plays more around Shadow Word Death. You don't get blown out from a Shadow Word Death.
That's a good point.
So
it does allow development, though.
It does allow development, though, yeah.
I think the Thing from Below is meant to be a good force here. Let's listen to Luminosity, as now they face down quite a board from Virtus.Pro.
Oh my God.
No, we have to death.
You have to Historian, yeah.
We have to Historian death.
So you leave up the Flame Tongue this turn.
We don't have to Historian. Is Pain ever better?
We have to. No, it's not.
Historian's so good.
No, we have to Historian.
Actually, wait. Maybe Zlay's right.
The value trade on the Trog.
We're winning in value, right? Like, you get the value trade on the Trog. You leave him with a 3/4 and a 1/1 against your 2/4. So he goes bump bump. And then we have Historian Drake or Historian into a 5. I'm okay with Death Pain.
Now I think about it, yeah.
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 Yeah, I think we're winning on value.
It lets us take something bigger from the Historian. Because we have better tempo, right?
Yeah.
I'm painting the Flame Tongue and trading the Tunnel Shot.
Painting the Flame Tongue and...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let's not overthink good things, right? This is just good.
Yeah, this one is obvious. You want 1/1? Yeah, we actually, I guess.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah, we want 1/1. Or left? No, I think it's to the no, to the right, because if you're gonna get Flame Tank, you wanna trade the minions in the center. You wanna trade the Town Totem.
You probably trade the 3/2 though.
Not right.
If you Flame Tongue, you probably trade the 3/2.
Okay. Just here, right?
Yeah, on the left.
Second Thing from Below.
Okay. So you'll obviously start with 1.
Once upon a time.
That's horrible.
Like,
we're behind, so Volcanic Drake is not getting discounts.
No.
And I think Nosdorm is better than Twilight Whelp, but you can argue with me about that.
I think the Twilight Whelp's better. More
and both
things
hexes
on
are
board.
gone.
Both hexes are
Yeah,
gone.
but we have another Historian.
Nosdorm is pretty memey too.
But we have another Historian in our hand.
The Twilight Whelp gets farmed by the 5/5. Like,
yeah.
So does our Azure Drake, though. We could maybe go double Historian, Twilight.
Yeah. Let's play double Historian, I think.
You want to take the Twilight Whelp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play Historian.
Once upon a time.
Malagos.
Malagos. There's one Nova on our deck.
It's also just a 4/12 beater. It's kind of good. Yeah, I like Mally.
Yeah.
Like, remember, their Jades are still 1/1s, so, like, their cards are getting increasingly worse.
Yeah, but that sucked.
Yeah, obviously that sucked, but, like...
This game's starting to take a bad direction for Luminosity. If they lose the board completely, it might be tough for them to sort of get back into it outside of a Holy Nova pickup. I heard them say that they had one in their deck.
Normally the Malagos here is just, it's like nothing, usually. but they fought so well in this game that I think that Malagos is going to have a huge impact.
Both hexes are gone. Devolve is gone.
Yep.
If they do pick up Malagos and a Holy Nova, that's almost a guaranteed full bowl clear. I can't even think of anything.
Plus they have
that would
Defender of
reach through
Argus in the deck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of draws that are good because of that.
Chalky called it a 412 beater. A 513 beater's even better.
Yeah, especially
that they can't hex.
Yeah, especially when it's beating down the attacks.
Yeah.
You're just standing in the way, batting everything away. You wanted to shield the frog. Well, that Malagos is going to hold the door.
Did you ever do the Malagos raid encounter in World of Warcraft?
I didn't actually.
You had to like fly on a dragon and fight it with dragons. It was pretty intense.
Beat Brian Kibler for a day.
Yeah. Brian Kibler taught me everything I know about World of Warcraft lore.
And again, Luminosity, they just haven't been taking damage, so all of their plays are very efficient, and this is no exception. Azure Drake picks up a card, Shadow Word Death deals the 5/3. No super strong contests on the board for Virtus.Pro at that point. Blood Mage is their last card. Malagos is going to hit, and it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
The play that Slay made earlier where he wanted to get greedy and pick bigger things off the Northshire Cleric is now paying off. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. That's going to protect their board, also develop their board. When you're in a value battle like this, if Maelstrom Portal can get value, it's actually a huge deal because protecting low health minions against Priest, they have, you know, spot removal and limited AoE. It means that you can keep those minions alive, trade up with low health minions, which can be huge in this matchup.
A wide board state is what Virtus.Pro needs right now because Malagos is going to be so efficient they can't afford to trade into it. The key here is going to have so many little minions that can attack over and over again. That's where they're going to find their game plan right now.
Man, they could pick up Pit Snake from this Maelstrom Portal.
They could. The spell power here is negligible from the Maelstrom Portal. They'll still have to trade in Totem Golem at this stage unless they get a charge.
Bloodhymn's actually not bad. It's going to protect their board a little bit more from AoE. Let's go listen in now to Luminosity. They need some help.
I guess. It is then.
Yeah, you just Mally. Get it down as early as possible.
The less we think, the more they're worried about Holy Nova.
Yep.
What, do you really want to devolve it?
No.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Like if they have AoE, I mean, I think we still trade Talnos, right?
Yeah, I like trading with Talnos.
Why do you like trading Talons?
Because we want to have a card.
Why? I mean, playing into AoE, but if they trade...
Yeah, but if they have AoE, we lose.
Alright.
We just go face, right? Hero power and go. Play Aya, go face.
No,
yeah, hero power first.
It's not devolve, right?
No.
It's only two use.
Wait, with heal and totem, maybe just pass, not playing Aya.
Why?
Well, but we're not.
How you win?
When they have AoE, we'd lose, right? 100%.
No, right.
Oh no.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't work at all.
Do we have to play these minions for tempo? Probably.
Well, how many turns do we have? That's like the thing.
Well, we pain the 2/2, right?
I think so.
And then we heal our Malagos.
Really?
It's only down 1 health, I guess.
I think we just play both minions and then
You want to play the Blackwing Corruptor?
we don't heal. What if we don't heal? We just play the 2 minions.
Play everything.
Yeah.
Well, we get farmed on board.
Yeah, we get farmed on board always.
So you want to rip Holy Nova?
We're trying to give us another turn to rip Holy Nova.
Holy Nova doesn't actually win the game. It's just good.
Yeah.
Still, like,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
they
yeah.
can't ever hex this, so it sort of wins the game.
I mean, I think you pain. You definitely play the 5/4, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, this wasn't very
yeah,
good.
Stuff, yeah.
I think maybe we should have bumped in the Malagos and healed it into the 5/5. Because remember, it gets healed. We don't actually have an onboard way to kill that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Wow, that's a bad turn.
That's 2 bad turns now for Luminosity and 2 great turns for Virtus.Pro. The Blood Imp buffing thing from below. Healing Totem lands. Heals it up out of the Malagos range. That is so much extra damage that Virtus.Pro got due to that chain of events. Now they draw a second Jade Chieftain. Luminosity drawing fairly dead cards at this point, and with no dragon in hand, a lot of their draws are poor.
It's basically Holy Nova or bust, and you heard Luminosity mention, does Holy Nova even win us the game? It gets them back on the board, but
it wins them the game. It's gonna kill the entire board.
It wins them the game.
Yeah.
I thought about it for a moment, especially since they traded in the Aya.
Honestly, the Jade Chieftain giving taunt here is actually bad for Virtus.Pro.
But it's got to be off the top.
Wow. Oh my. That's really bad.
Yeah. They're not dead.
They gotta play them both, I think. Oh, they have to heal the Malagos here sometimes.
They can play them both and heal the Malagos.
Malagos is gonna die on board. Ugh. I think they gotta play them both. Oh, the thing flow it's so...
Healing Totem plus Blood Imp is like doubling up on protecting your minions.
I mean, Chalky said it. It's farming them on board. Everything they play just dies. It's like, here, take this one. Here, have this one too.
More gas.
Oh my gosh. Virtus.Pro is just drawing lights out right now. That's a 5-5 that'll make.
So they have 15 damage right now with the Jade Claws, so not quite lethal. But here, I mean, what is Priest going to do with 1 card? Do you just like make good trades on the board and then...
Honestly, at this stage, I think they are free to hedge their bets against Holy Nova. That's how strong I think their hand is.
They do need to make room for that
I think
extra
they're going to do that too.
Yeah.
Like if they kill the Malagos here, Claws eats the Corruptor, it's a 2-4 versus the world.
Which isn't going to do much. Luminosity's going to need Deathwing if they have it in their deck. They played both Nether Spite Historians, so they can't even...
Which they don't have a Deathwing in their deck, I can tell you that.
You never know, man.
Sometimes you do. I don't even know what I'd do if they had Deathwing. Something ridiculous, that's what I'd do.
Let's see the pickup for Luminosity. Oh my God.
They've drawn the worst cards in their deck back-to-back-to-back turns. Now, granted, there are a lot of them that are there.
Yeah, they said earlier on we're winning the value matchup, but they did not win the value matchup. Virtus.Pro just had some nice pickups there in the mid game, played it well, respected the Holy Nova, didn't respect the Holy Nova because they knew that it had to be off the top. They knew that they couldn't beat it anyway. Well played, and now Virtus.Pro climbing their way back in the series again. 4-3 looks much, much better than 4-2.
It's a big win as well. I mean, they had very few strong answers to Priest at this point. Getting that one out of the way means that Paladin now could potentially have its opening. Priest is one of the matchups that I think that Paladin really struggles against, and it's due to the way that Draconid Operative interacts with Anyfin Paladin. If they steal and anything can happen from you, they oftentimes just get the opportunity to kill you before you get to kill them.
Luminosity did get a lot of info about the deck. They saw the Chieftains, they saw the Devolves, they saw, I mean, Hexes is, once you see Jades, you pretty much know that the Hexes are there. So they saw a lot of those tools. So now they have a lot of that information to intelligently choose which deck they want to play going into this next game. So we'll see what they go with. What's going to be the best against Shaman?
I mean, a lot of it depends on what that mage is.
Yeah.
I mean, say it's a freeze mage.
Now, Frozen, of course, will be competing in the HCT Winter Championship here coming up in just like a week. In his lineup, he posted on his Twitter the other day, he does have Freeze Mage in his championship lineup. So the Evolved Kobold Freeze Mage in his championship lineup. And all these players in the past, maybe with the exception of Zalay, have had experience with Freeze Mage.
A lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah. Chalky and Frozen. Frozen was known as a Freeze Mage player for a while, back in the, I think it was the Whispers of the Old God meta, the time when DreamHack Austin had just come out, which was when Chalky and Frozen started to have a lot of their success. Frozen was like top 4ing majors back to back with Reno Malagos Freeze Mage. So he plays those combo decks super well.
But that's right up Zalay's alley too, is a deck like Freeze Mage. He's a very technical player, and Freeze Mage is a very technical deck. One of the reasons it's so hard to pilot is because it requires a great understanding of matchups and the ability to execute perfect technical play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the double hitter where that deck is concerned, but that's been right up Slay's alley his whole career. Back from the Hunter decks that needed to decisively deal out their damage on the right turns. A lot of holding Eagle Horn bow charges, sequencing your secrets at just the right time, and Patron Warrior play. I mean, that was one of the hardest decks to pilot perfectly, and Zalay was up there with the best of them. He probably had more Patron Warrior games than anyone in the world.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You can see that shot of the Trinity Arena with Admiral Bly smack dab in the middle. It's actually pretty tense. This is a much different environment than what we're used to from the regular season of Trinity Series. We can hear when the players start to get heated. We can sort of hear the chatter pick up and things like that. And with an Ice Barrier,
Blizzard, Frostbolt, if you see any duplicates of those, that's guaranteed Freeze Mage.
Yeah, and even right off the bat, Ice Barrier is not a card that you find very often in Reno Mage, especially lately. And Reno Mage is sort of, it's on the way out because of the fact that Druid has sort of been on its way in because of the changes to the aggressive decks. So,
yeah,
and
plus those decks just got weaker, and that's what Reno Mage is trying to beat up.
Yeah, so I like this choice, and I think we're going to see a big diversity of Mage decks throughout the course.
You're just calling
of the
it Freeze
Trinity Series
Mage.
Finals.
That's Freeze Mage.
Yeah, the Ice Barrier was thrown away and then put back in the mulligan, so that means that is a duplicate.
Yeah, you only redraw mulligan cards on your actual first draw. During the mulligan phase, you cannot redraw anything that you actually threw back.
All right. So we're in for a good one here, and Virtus.Pro.
Manatite Totem, I think it's key.
Manatite Totem is key. It forces removal. You can't leave that up because it gives your opponents more time to draw into some of those key cards that they need. They're gonna have to expend burn on it.
So this matchup very much, I think, is in favor of Luminosity. One of their major game plans is simply to draw a bunch of cards and then stall out the board position and then deliver Alexstrasza and a lot of burn spells to Virtus.Pro. So it simply requires them to have time. Virtus.Pro playing this style of Shaman deck is going to be a lot slower. Two of the big keys for them are their ability to fight Doomsayer and then also their ability to recover post-Alexstrasza. So Jinyu Water Speaker we saw it in the opening hand, but is there a healing wave teched into here? If there's not, Jinyu's about the only way to heal, which means that Devolve and Hex will almost certainly be tools that they want to use against Doomsayer to keep their board around, and then the rest of the time, they're going to try to deal as much damage as possible while picking up extra cards from Manatite Totem.
Yeah, I sort of like to look at this matchup in a similar way to Jade Druid, where it's a tough matchup, but they both have tools that can get it back in the game. Whereas, Druid has Mulch, Shaman has Hex to do with Doomsayers. They both have Heal for post-Alexstrasza with Feral Rage for Druids and Jinyu Water Speakers for the Shaman. The one difference is that Shamans can't, unless it's a crazy situation, can't go above 30. And the list that most people run with Freeze Mage nowadays is the Evolved Kobold, which can one-turn kill you. And that's a lot of times the goal is you play a super, cycle and draw-heavy version of the deck, and you try and go for that one-turn kill to eliminate the potential for heals to screw you over as that goes on.
Yeah, but this Manatite Totem is working overtime. It's disrupting the Arcane Intellect from Luminosity, forcing out 3 points of burn, and it's picking up extra card. Let's listen to Luminosity as they face down this kind of turn.
You like bolting?
I like killing it, yeah. I don't know, it seemed a little crazy to me to leave it up. Like, we kept the bolt and we're just never going to use it. We're going to hold it for until they're dead. I don't like that.
I think if we had a better cycle hand.
Right.
No, we use it for like their Trog.
No,
what Trog?
But I would bolt this. Like, bolting it is like killing a Trog that they're going to draw off of it. They're going to get like 3 draws off of this.
Way more than that.
What to do?
They get infinite, yeah. Like, they get to just juke their hand.
Going to turn 10, please.
Tempo Brand. No. Why not?
Tunnel Truck Hero Power, right?
Yeah. We need some minions for Totem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't care. Checking our deck.
Draw.
Yeah. So, Hint of Novice Acolyte.
Virtus.Pro getting on the board quick. They got a lot of tools now. Flame Tongue Totem, pick up Thing from Below. They can start piling on the damage
Yeah, this is the one benefit that Virtus.Pro Shaman has over stuff like Jade Druid, is that they can deliver a much mightier punch than a Druid deck can. Now, a Flame Tongue Totem, a Tunnel Trolloc, and a couple hero powers are actually threatening some real damage, but that's a big pickup. Alex Straza is a major key for Luminosity. They need to pick up some burn spells here, but that's step one.
Yeah, maybe not right now, because right now they need to buy the time to get to Alex Straza, and they need to buy the time to pick up that burn that you mentioned. So while it's a good pickup, in that order, maybe not as much. But Virtus.Pro now continuing to just build up a big board. They have Devolve for Doomsayer, so they're not really worried about Frost Nova Doomsayer. They can feel free to extend on the board as much as their heart desires.
Yeah, Luminosity, I mean, the one thing their hand does really well is buy the time. They have double Frost Nova, Ice Barrier just trigger. They have Blizzard in hand. They have a lot of stuff to shut down the board over turns. I think their major concern right now is how do they keep the card draw going. Honestly, I don't mind Acolyte and Ping this turn. They're facing down 9 points of damage, but they're at 28.
Yeah.
And they have plenty of time to get going.
One thing that they do need to do is
It's a heavy cut to the board, though.
Yeah, one thing that they do need to do is protect that Acolyte of Pain. Not throw it out there at full health, because there's so many ways for Virtus.Pro to remove it. They throw that out there, it's going to get hexed. It's going to get devolved. They need to get draws out of it immediately the turn that they play it, which is going to be a key here. That's why this turn they went with Blizzard as opposed to, say, Acolyte of Pain plus Frost Nova and try and get draws the next turn, because they know how vulnerable that Acolyte is.
That Healing Totem's pretty big deal, too. That thing from below is a pretty big deal, too. I mean, Flame Strike is the draw from Luminosity. It's Jhin right now. Let's listen to Luminosity to hear how they want to start getting this card draw unlocked.
Bloodlust is one off. That's probably lethal if they have Bloodlust.
I mean,
I think it's Acolyte Ping Bolt.
Bolt, which one?
4-3.
I like the Acolyte Ping. I think we have to do that part.
We could also go like Acolyte Bolt Ping the Bran. If we're too scared of that, but we're not that scared of it.
You really want to give up our Bolt? That's so crazy.
What else do you want to do?
Like, you could just, like, Acolyte block, hope he doesn't have Hex. Get the block down, start freezing.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to do the Acolyte Ping.
Let the pain speak to me.
Like, we need to go for a super long game anyways.
Do you need the Bolt?
We don't necessarily. We could just lose the Bloodlust here if we want to hold it.
I'm okay with that. I
kind of like holding it.
I like holding it, but... Oh. I just don't understand how we have enough damage.
We will have enough. Once we get Emperor down, then we can just like...
So you just want to draw our deck?
We want to kill Bran before we Alex him. Well, we're not going to draw it.
You want to draw?
Yeah, you just can put it to the right, far right, it works. Do we trade? I think we don't. Let's go face.
I think we still play the Wolf, right?
Yeah, we'll play the Wolf. But
I mean,
do we trade? I mean, I think trading with Rock is fine with 1-1. Since we have...
first.
No.
No, I think no.
You trade the yeah.
Yeah, the Wolf.
Whatever. You don't
Go
care,
face,
right?
yeah.
Just go face.
I think the 5/5 clear their Watchmen. I don't know if I like that.
Not a huge fan of that, but...
We could go like Acolyte Ping it and block.
How much damage is Bloodlust?
It's
15 on
it's
this board.
dead.
If we kill the Bran.
How do you want to kill Bran? Torch Ping?
It's 22. It's 1 over lethal if we kill Bran.
We can Blizzard Torch next turn. We can go like Acolyte Ping Nova.
I'm more worried about Flame Tongue Bolt thing, not Bloodlust.
So you want to go like Acolyte Ping?
Ping Nova? That's like the obvious play, right? They don't have Hex. What if or they just wanted to use Devolve over Hex.
What if we put a block and torch ping the brand, setting up to Alex them next turn?
We don't win like that. We don't use any of our freezes that way. That's awful.
Yeah, I think it's Acolyte ping, Nova, or...
Yeah, I like that. Let's...
Or we could just torch the 5/5 trade. Save the freeze. Ooh.
No.
Use a Nova, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, torch.
And we do this.
This is fine. Yeah, I like
Okay,
this.
yeah,
I like
you're
this.
right.
I like this.
Good job, Frozen.
Luminosity debating all the way down to the last second. They had a lot of options there, but I actually like this plan. Frost Nova has a ton of value as the late game stages go on when you need to buy that one extra turn. This sort of allows them to put more burn in their deck and use resources that aren't as valuable to essentially do the same thing. So I like this. They still have a lot of freezes left. They have a lot of room. As long as they don't get too low and get blown out by Bloodlust, which they've seemed so afraid of, then this play, I think, works out best.
Yeah, and something that's really cool to look at here is you start to see Frozen's plan unlock as they draw Ice Lance, actually. You kind of look at it, you're like, that's a second Frostbolt. You don't have the damage to face with Ice Lance. Well, they do have Forgotten Torches and Roaring Torches. He wants to draw the whole deck. If they're going to do that, that means using Ice Lance defensively. That means freezing the board and using Ice Lance to finish off a minion in a particular spot, rather than the other way around. This is a really cool play from Luminosity, and just the damage they're going to suffer here is going to be determinant of whether or not they actually end up losing this game.
Oh, I don't know if this was a blunder from Virtus.Pro. They're leaving a lot of room open on their board. Jade Claws summons 2 Jades because of the battle cry from Bran. It is a battle cry. I saw Naaman sort of like reel his head back a little bit. I think they had plans to play one of these 4-drops along with it. I don't know, maybe not.
That Doomsayer is so good.
It's going to get devolved, but...
I mean, they get to set the ice block is one of the big keys here.
Yeah.
The end is coming!
I'm curious if they Ice Lance now as well. I mean, the brand can't get any value, so I can't imagine they would. And they have another freeze for it.
Ice Lance is their only Ice Lance activator left.
Look at how strong the freezes are here, though. Like, if Luminosity finds some good card draw, they can run away with it. Now, both Acolytes are gone. They're down 1 Arcane Intellect, so... Yeah, it's going to be really close on how much time they have.
That's 2 Pit Snakes today. I'm counting.
That'll likely draw the attack.
Pretty much has to.
But this is an opening for Alexstrasza now, too, because they have the ice block down.
It is an opening for Alexstrasza, but they don't have Burn to follow it up, which gives Virtus.Pro more time to find Jinyu.
I wonder.
Even like even with perfect draws, they'd have to get... Well, I don't know.
They have like 3 turns.
Yeah.
And they're getting pretty deep into the deck. There is a Roaring Torch in there as well.
So Roaring Torch, 2 Fireballs, a Forgotten Torch.
I'd say Virtus.Pro is favored right now. But I think Luminosity made the best of a pretty poor situation.
It's really going to depend on these next couple draws. They need that cycle. Let's go listen to Luminosity, see how they want to handle as we get towards the end of this game.
Okay.
How about Blizzard ping the Bran?
I mean...
So
we have Blizzard for a turn, and then we have Nova for a turn.
I don't know, like...
I like using the Blizzard earlier, right, than the other stuff.
Like, if we didn't kill that Drake, we would have taken like 4 more and it'd be at 5. Like...
Yeah, but then we would
That'd
have
be
played
good.
differently. We would have played differently.
It's okay, it's okay. Let's play this
Blizzard ping?
position. Is Bran the one to ping? Is it better to ping the Flame Tongue? Like, are we gonna ping again next turn?
I think it's Blizzard ping the Bran.
Okay. I agree.
The Chieftain, we're gonna be the Nova, the only one which is gonna be really bad. They can't Alexstrasza next turn because they need to kill Bran.
If they play Nova, we will pop them.
Don't we just Jade Claw's face for sure?
Yeah, this we play for sure.
Yeah, but if this armor, Deal, why not? Okay, yeah, just play Spirit Class. Yeah, it's only 1 out of 12. Yep. And
Wait.
what else? Maybe playing Chieftain is better first. Chieftain and then Jade Class, so we can get 5-5 on the table.
I wonder.
Same. No?
I mean,
Warriors, come out to play.
It's the same, just with stuff. It was blocked.
problem is what do we do if they just go face now? Oh yeah, we kill our own minion, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the issue is he pops us.
What?
With Jade Lightning, right?
Yeah. And we just... I mean, that's always an issue, right?
Do we ever, like, Ice Lance the Azure Drake? We lose
Maybe we can Ice Lance, like,
No,
phase.
you could Ice Lance him in that case.
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
But that loses us more damage. Like, we're running out of damage.
Yeah, we need the 4 to kill him after Alex.
Oh my god. Like, if he
So if he pops, we lose.
Well, Jade Lightning is very likely.
So we have to lance.
He needs pop and he needs Jinyu, right?
Yeah.
What to do?
If we lance, we're gonna double lance. I think.
Why?
We can't double.
Because the other one sucks. So we kill the Bran and then we Alex. Dude, we're not gonna get there this game. Like, I don't think we can lance.
Okay.
We straight up just don't have the damage.
Yeah.
I don't know how you envision this going.
I think
we do have Alex block, like.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm thinking we need to save the lance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think we're just screwed, but like I just don't understand where you guys saw this going.
I mean, maybe he doesn't have Hex here.
If we can draw
like Kobold, our draw.
That sucks. 1, 2, Fireball, Torch. Yeah, we have like no outs. Like, you have to hope he just doesn't have Jinyu.
Kobold's lethal.
Well, yeah, we have outs if he doesn't.
Fireball.
Kobold's not lethal against Jinyu.
Yeah,
We're
we
not
can't beat
beating
Jinyu.
Yeah.
I know, we could have if we played differently. He'd just be dead.
Okay, so we're gonna Alex face.
And then block, right? That's all we
No
can do.
attack, right?
No, this is all we can do.
We attack because like the Tunnel Trog into our 5/5.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Might hit the 4/4.
Yeah, you should. You should hit something. You should hit the biggest one, right? Yeah.
I think it was unfortunate the way we drew.
All right. Let's worry about this game. Come on.
This is sort of the first sign of like real interruption to the teamwork and the flow that Luminosity usually has. Chalky is really against the way that Frozen and Soleil had sort of tag teamed to play this game. Frozen wanted to use those frost bolts early because he wanted to play that long game. He thought they'd draw enough burn. Chalky disagrees.
I think the reason he's upset is because there was no discussion about it. Frozen just did it.
He just did it. Actually, the turn they used Frostbolt, Chalky and Soleil, as he was playing it, said, I like holding the Frostbolt. This game might have been a little bit of a different landscape had they had that Frostbolt there. They would have been in a lot better of a situation. They might have been able to remove the brand. And then there's the argument of, well, do they use the Ice Lances? And that's game. And you could tell Luminosity looks like they're still discussing last turn because there's not much to say this turn. They lost the game.
The brand lived forever.
Yeah.
And you can't have that happen. And the game plan of using Ice Lances defensively apparently doesn't work against Jade Shamans.
Apparently does not. And Virtus.Pro takes a big win, taking the Freeze Mage off the table. That Freeze Mage could have had success against both of their main decks, or a lot of their main decks. So now
is typically a good matchup for Freeze Mage.
Now it's tied up. It's 4-4. We're getting to essentially a best of 3 to decide who's going to win this match. And the momentum, the morale, all on Virtus.Pro's side.
I totally agree with you here, too. That the second Frostbolt ended up being catastrophe for Luminosity towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear that they are still talking about it.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
They're
They
pretty
just-
close
They
to
just
us.
shrug that off and
It's a
refocus.
pretty heated discussion.
Talk about order of operations here and how you get the job done. Don't.
Yeah.
No more debate.
Look
about
forward.
Gameplay.
Move on to the next match. That's what you got to do.
Ooh,
but
dangerous.
There's Luminosity's remaining decks. It's Druid Paladin for Luminosity, Shaman Paladin for the side of Virtus.Pro. So it all comes down to those 4 decks. Are those the decks that you want when it comes down to a best of 3 at the end of the day?
No.
All tied up 4-4. It's not.
No, those are 2 poor classes that you don't typically play with a lot. You don't have a significant amount of practice in, and that frankly just they're good enough, but not very good decks. So this is like a perfect time for Luminosity, is because we're about to take a quick breather here.
Yeah.
Just get some time. They need to settle down and refocus on how to win.
Well, we'll see. We'll return to the series in just a moment. But in the meantime, we're going to send it over to Frodan, who's joined by the boys in blue, Team Liquid, over at Trinity tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. Welcome over to Trinity Tonight, whatever it's called. We don't even really keep track around here. Hope you guys have been enjoying the broadcast so far. And while we have a little brief break to let the players have an intermission, we have Team Liquid on the couch getting ready for their next match. I believe they're submitting all their lineups, their bans, their orders, who's playing what. And I think they're feeling really confident. Sho, you're feeling pretty good coming in overseas from Sweden?
Very good. Just a little tired.
I heard you missed your flight on the way here. How did that happen?
I did. I thought I was going to go the other day.
Okay.
And I woke up and I realized my plane goes in 5 minutes, so
and you
I
wouldn't
want to make it.
$150,000 for the prize pool, and you don't think to even make your flight, huh?
Sleeping is important.
Yeah.
Ask this guy's toast.
That's right. We're going to have to give you an alarm clock in order to make your flights, but really glad you're able to make it thus far. Of course, joined by Nyria and Dog. Did you guys get to all hang out at the Team Liquid house, or is it just you, Sho?
It was just me. I was here 1 week prior to play in the Boston event. And,
Okay, right.
Meanwhile, I was here waiting for this tournament to start. I was in the Liquid house.
Gotcha. So then when did you come in, Nyria?
We arrived late yesterday, like at night.
Okay. You and...
Yeah.
Dog? You guys came in the same flight?
No,
You're
we
from
got
Ukraine
in...
too, Dog?
I wish.
You wish. Shots fired at Texas.
No, we just had the same arrival
Yeah,
time.
we got the same,
okay,
same time.
right on,
Took the same shuttle. We got in at like 12 at night. So
Well,
pretty late.
imagine that. We're making sure that teams arrive at the same time, upgrading that production behind the scenes. We have another segment coming up for you guys. This one's a really fun one. We like to call it Nerf, Marry, and Kill. I'm going to go down the line on the couch and ask you guys Nerf, Marry, Kill for one category and see how you would answer. So the first one goes to Sho. This is Nerf, Marry, Kill. Pay close attention. Out of these 3 categories, who would you nerf, who would you marry, and who would you kill? Huffer, Misha, and Leok. Or Yuffer, Yisha, Yeok. Does that make it more clear for you?
That helps. I would definitely kill Leok.
Kill Leok?
I hate that guy. I don't want him ever.
Oh, wow. All right. So then we got that out of the way. But then who do you nerf and who do you marry between
I would nerf
Misha?
Huffer and marry Misha. Misha always helps me.
Yeah, very motherly, right? So I feel like it's a good companion. All right. Well, that's a really nice answer. Very wholesome. I like that. I really like that. All right, Nyria, you have the second category. This one's a little creative. Who would you nerf, marry, kill out of That's Incredible, I'm Sorry, and Happy Feast of Wintervale?
I would marry Happy Feast of Wintervale.
Really?
Yes.
I thought that was an easy kill. I think everyone hates that emo. I think it's the rudest. People usually think that.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay. So you like
I'm
it
a BMer.
Okay, a little grit. I like it. Okay.
Everyone knows. And I would kill I'm Sorry.
Okay, why?
Because story mode is not existing in Hearthstone.
Okay, sure.
And
makes it easy.
And the last one is...
Nerf, That's Incredible.
Yes.
It's too powerful.
It's too powerful.
Okay.
Everyone is bored of it.
This category was definitely a little weak. I think the emotes, I'm not sure, it doesn't even make sense to marry an emote. That would definitely be some weird constitutional laws for our country, at least. All right, Dog, you get the last one. Well, I think the players are almost ready. So this one's the most important in my opinion. I think this one, I will judge you a lot on your character. Who'd you nerf, marry, or kill out of TJ, Frodan, and Admirable?
I can't kill any of you guys.
You got it.
All right. Frodan's OP for sure.
So you nerf me?
Yeah.
All right, I'll accept that answer.
Your OP is, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So TJ, he's married, right?
He is married.
Yeah, he's married. Yeah.
You can't marry him unless you want to break some laws.
I mean, he's probably a good husband if he's still married. So.
Oh, you're saying because he's married?
Yeah, exactly. So I would marry him, and I guess I'd kill Admirable.
He said with a smile and a laugh afterwards. Well, thank you so much for that answer. I'm sure there's some animosity. We'll make sure Admiral's not casting your match. And with that, that's the end of our little segment. Hope you guys enjoy. It's just a way to break up the time and get to know Liquid a little bit better. But we're done over here at Trinity tonight. We're going to head over back to Trinity Arena down there with TJ and Honorable to get ready for the conclusion of that Best of 11 series.
Unfortunately, Admirable, Doug chose to kill you.
I expected that.
I'm just marriage material. That's what it is.
It's true.
Dog wants to marry me. NBD.
The big key is nerfing Frodan, because then like his confidence level gets shot, and then you're on a level playing field with him. Then you can marry him. That's like my strategy anyway. But that's why they're killing me, is because I'm just it's so low tier anyway.
I'd nerf Frodan, then marry him, then kill him. All Frodan. 1, 2, 3 in that order. Yeah, but
Makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. But it's just about time the players are starting to get back from their little breaks, their little breathers. Series is all tied up 4-4, and you can see them getting ready. Luminosity, they have a lot of work to do on their hands here. They seem like they had a lot of disagreement in that last game of the match, and we'll see if this break helped them. Maybe they had a chance to refresh, talk to each other, say, hey, let's focus on the game coming up. Let's not focus too much on what we could have done in that last match. Virtus.Pro, though, all the momentum's on their side. They have won the last 2 games in a row. They seem like they were agreeing on plays left and right in that last match. So, I don't know. I think Virtus.Pro is poised to take the series.
Look, what went wrong in the last game? Was it the actual play that was made, or was it the order of operations to get to the play?
Mm-hmm.
I personally think it was the communication. I think you sit back down, take a breather, slow down and talk to your teammates before you make those decisions.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see if they clean that communication a little bit. We're going to move into Druid for Luminosity versus the Shaman for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, and this is a matchup that honestly I haven't seen a ton of, but it's starting to happen more and more. One of the big things to look at is the game plans from these two. For Virtus.Pro, it's typically invest into the early board to try to take that position. For Luminosity, it's typically invest into the mana pool to try to unlock stronger turns. One of their stronger turns is Ancient War, and one of the best counters to Ancient War is Hex. That's a situation that could be very much a liability for Luminosity. But say they're in a situation where they're able to tame the board control from Virtus.Pro and then pick up some good card draw. That's the kind of situation where I think Luminosity can start to win. But that's a Moonfire and a Mire Keeper all of a sudden, so maybe it's actually just not a Jade Druid.
Yeah, Frozen, again, we saw him brought Freeze Mage to the Hearthstone Championship Tour for the Bahamas, the Winter Championship coming up soon. He also brought Malagos Kun OTK Druid with Malagos in his lineup. So this is sort of a nod to his lineup for that. He probably convinced his teammates that this was better than Jade Druid. So we'll definitely have to see how this is going to be fleshed out. But Moonfire and Mire Keeper, to an extent, pretty much tell us that this is going to be Malagos Druid.
Yeah, and that makes this a much different matchup, where now it plays more akin to the way the Freeze Mage does. The difference is that Luminosity is more free to use like minions to actually stop the board instead of just hoping to freeze it forever. Now that being said, Druid is still typically going to struggle to big-time aggression, so this Totem Golem might still be a problem. But the Hex not nearly as big of a target in that instance, because Luminosity is relying on combo damage to win the game rather than on Ancient's War and minions.
Yeah, we're still doing the Twitch chat voting. Now that the series has gotten closer, vote now. We saw Luminosity had the majority of the votes early on, but are they going to win now? I can see that vote's a lot closer. Either Luminosity or Virtus.Pro. Spam in the chat. Who do you think is going to win now that the series is tied 4-4? And we move into Shaman versus Malagos Druid.
And watch those votes go up as Totem Golem comes down.
As soon as Totem Golem comes down, Virtus.Pro takes the lead. It's very close.
Wow.
It's very close.
At the start of this match, it was like 80% Luminosity.
It's like 1,000 for Luminosity and like 150 for Virtus.Pro.
Oh my lord, it is neck and neck.
Let me take out my phone real quick.
We've enabled the ability.
I'm gonna go vote.
We've enabled the ability for chat to count to 100.
In a weird way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at how effective this is. I mean, they're skipping a couple numbers over here and there, but it's got a great flow. You don't see any repeat numbers or reverse orders.
How about now, chat? If try and type out Luminosity or Virtus.Pro one letter at a time. See if we can get there. Show your teams your support by being unified.
Innervate out on the Mire Keeper here is a really interesting turn for Virtus.Pro. They're just going to snap use hero power. Trading now much more reasonable for them because the Totem Golem now is no longer vulnerable to the hero power from Luminosity in this spot. So very valuable hero power for them. Let's listen to Luminosity as they draw their second innervator.
Coin just for a card. Do his Jade Lightning turn.
Both plays are weak versus Jade Lightning. But I like the Innervate Gadget better. Because if he Jade Lightnings, we play Drake into it. But if we coin Drake, then
it's awkward.
Yeah.
The other play is just like Power of the Wild and Moonfire and Hero Power, right? How about that?
Go for the gadget. We're running out of time.
Okay.
Like we can hit some stuff off of it.
Not really.
Just like the
There's 3 1-drops.
Okay. Yeah.
There's 3 1-drops we can hit.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Totally go for the coin. No, I'll go for the coin. Trade the coin for a card here, right?
Coin?
I kind of like coining.
That's like the whole reason I like this. There's 3 1-drops we can hit there. We're curving into Ash Drake. It's fine.
X.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, just do it faster, yeah. Yeah.
Raph, hero power. He's on 4 mana. 4 mana is kind of bad for them. Could also Raph for 1. Drake. We could also Drake. Drake seems bad. Drake's
bad. Drake's bad. Yeah.
So it's either Raph for 3 hero power, or Raph for 1 hero power.
I mean, I like getting rid of that Flame Tongue. Yeah, that's better than a card.
We could also Raph for 1 Power the Wild.
No. That sucks.
I know.
That sucks.
Oh my god, I kind of like Raphing for 1 here.
Why?
No.
Because
that thing's just gonna stay around forever.
Okay.
That thing's just gonna stay around forever.
We have 2 Nourishes in our deck. That has to die.
Time waits for no one.
It's really hard for them to have a good play this turn, I guess.
Frozen kind of reeled himself back a little bit compared to the last match. He listened to his teammates a little bit. He really wanted to Wrath for 1. Maybe they sat down and talked to him and said, Frozen, you gotta listen to us, man.
Druid's got to kill Flame Tongue. I mean, that card is just so powerful versus Druid. Every single thing becomes a major threat at that point. Now this leads into the Emperor turn, and Virtus.Pro, their hand is just so stacked with stuff to do. They didn't use the Hex. I think they're fairly unlikely to use it here. This is looking great for Virtus.Pro. I think they're pretty close to having this in the bag. One big thing that could change it is Swipe. Azure Drake into Swipe.
Yep.
Big card draw for Luminosity is what they're looking for. Big swing turns, big card draw.
There's the second Flame Tongue. Again, you mentioned it. Sort of the bane of Druid. For a long time, it's been the bane of Druid. They have to Spiral move that, and then they make a weaker turn on the board, and now Virtus.Pro just continuing to chip away. That's a very threatening board.
But one of the big things that's been a problem for them, too, is that the Raven Idol just produced nothing. Like, Power of the Wild is so bad in this particular deck. They wanted Raven Idol to produce just any sort of removal.
Wild Growth could have allowed them to maybe wait another turn for Gadget and Auctioneer and make a more explosive turn. There's a
Well, that's big. The question is how the rest of this goes now.
I think
like Ancient of War, the one benefit to it is that it either eats a lot of damage on board or is that it draws a Hex and thus slows down Virtus.Pro's turn. So there's just 2 very different roads to take right now.
Ancient of War dies on board. Not that easily, though. You'd have to trade in quite a bit of resources in order to do so.
And does that hurt their ability to actually swing the board with Azure Drake Swipe in that case? But, I mean, how much damage can you just keep taking? You have to do something to even the resources.
Another option is to...
I guess you could Power the Wild alongside it. I mean, you get a 3-2 on board then, too.
That could help you chip away at.
Like that could actually get all the power off the board and isolate the Flame Tongue in that case.
For no one.
Actually would do that. Then you have Mulch.
Wow, they didn't go for it. Well, let's listen to Virtus.Pro. See how they want to navigate this turn. Hex is kind of awkward.
They have 4, now they have 3.
Yeah, 3. I think we hex it.
I think we hex it, yeah.
Yeah,
every
play
time.
Hex it. And we play the Temper Talnas, yeah. So you want to put Talnas where?
I would put a Talnas to the right of the Flame Tongue.
Yeah, I would play, yeah.
Because I want to trade it.
Drake's fight.
And he has the onboard kill to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's what we got, though.
They're still fine. Oh yeah, so shift them and think from below.
Yeah, looks like.
Yeah. Wait, was it Drake reduced or not?
It was.
Drake was reduced, yes.
Okay, so 2 more cards.
We could mulch the taunts at hero power, the Flame Tongue. Make a power
Could also
wow.
go mulch, Feral Rage, 3/2.
That's not great, right? Mulch, Feral Rage, 3/2.
I think that's better.
And then just leave the 0/1.
Yeah.
And then we're at 12.
Do we have mana for that? We don't have mulch, Feral Rage, hero power mana.
We're not
No,
hero
we're
powering.
playing the power.
Oh, okay.
Then we're at 12. We have a 3/2 versus a 0/1. He has 5 cards and we have a Malagos.
I like that.
You like that? Okay.
You don't like?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be bad no matter what, but.
Waits for no one.
I think this is the go for it line, you know? That's what we need.
The go for it line.
Draw with
Wow. That's a go for it line if I've ever seen one. They have a single card in their hand, and that's Malagos.
And Virtus.Pro does not have a single card in their hand. They just have a bunch of minions.
Bunch of minions, and that's what you need against Druid. You need a bunch of minions. I don't even know what they pick up next turn that's going to help them. Living Roots is like spot removal. Swipe, not really.
Oh, yeah, they have to not die first.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's tough. Well, they won't die in this position. I mean, they're at 12.
Yeah, they just kill the Flame Tongue, jam the Malagos.
The next 2 draws are key for Luminosity. If they don't pick up anything strong, uh-oh. Well, this is big.
Healing Touch, Bite, and Wrath.
I think it's going to have to be Wrath in this instance.
Ooh.
They need to get the Malagos on board right now. They know there's 2 devolves. They know there's 2 hexes. They've seen a hex, and that's it.
7 damage on board.
Oh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Jade Lightning is
10,
lethal.
11. They have 11 total possible on minions. Uh-oh. They can't kill the Malagos.
They can push a lot of damage, though. But
all the rest of their stuff is just minions. If Luminosity chains together spells here, they're going to win.
They're still going to be pretty low health. And they don't have too many resources to chain together. They're going to have a draw from the Wrath.
What's Virtus.Pro's reach?
Wrath it'll be 6 damage, draw a card.
This is going to boil down to whether or not Luminosity can chain together draws. Wow, I don't know, Tej.
This Malagos is going to have to pull off some miracles. They're going to Lightning Storm now because they need to chip into that Malagos, take the creature off the board, and push damage. Rolls low. Let's go listen to Luminosity. They need a miracle here.
Alright, Wrath the 4/6.
Yep. We Wrath the 3/6.
Yeah, you have to Wrath this turn, right? So you start with that. You could nourish into roots actually.
Or
There's only
Feral
one
Rage.
Roots. There's one Roots, one
I
Feral
don't like Feral Rage better. I like Wrathing. But
Rage. Really good.
like what can we draw off this that we'd like to play? There's some stuff. Yeah, okay.
Alright, let's draw 3.
We have to draw 3, right?
Yes.
Well, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roots it?
You roots it, yeah.
Yep.
Are we supposed to roots it actually?
Yeah, protect our goose.
What, wait, if he has 5, we're dead.
Hero
Come on.
power?
Full power. Go for it.
I think we hero power.
Yeah, with hero power. Come on, keep it, do it. Oh, damn.
I like Totem Golem and the Apothecary.
Yeah, like it also. Yeah. How many cards do they have left? There's just don't have swipe.
Okay.
Draw 3? Or Wild Growth first?
No, you
Draw 3.
you draw 3.
That's swipe.
Okay.
Roots, Downos, hero power?
Well, we have to. Yeah, we have to hero power. So, do we want Dalnos down or do we want to cycle Wild Growth?
Oh, we want Dalnos down for sure, right? Like
Yeah.
same thing,
So,
but better.
yeah. So use Dalnos, Roots, hero power, and yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
How many cards are in our deck?
Yeah. What? We don't need that. The hero power.
Hero power.
Oh damn.
I think you devolve still.
8/8 on the board. I mean they. I think we devolve, right?
Also, so they don't draw a card from Talnos.
If we devolve, do we Jade Lightning somewhere?
What to do?
Wait, they use how many? They use 2 roots and they have only Moonfire and Swipe.
I think maybe Malygos isn't so good.
Yeah, I think maybe keeping Jade Lightning, but how do you like Bran and just Jet Lightning face? I think I like it.
They have 2 more draws, right?
Yeah.
And they still have Wild Growth, so they're probably gonna find the swipe. I would devolve.
Okay, go devolve. What now? Yeah, just play Bran.
Yeah, Bran.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
My mistake with the
with
not
the
play
lightning
5/5. I don't know.
Power out of range of lightning, so you can go.
We start with Drake.
No. Why would we start with Drake?
Okay.
Yeah, Wild Growth. We win from here.
Yeah.
Like if they can't do anything, we win.
Drake, hero power?
No. We're gonna go swipe growth, right?
Whoa.
Because we can draw 1 more for the Feral Rage. Oh, we can do that with the Drake too.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an issue of drawing too many cards.
No, we have infinite armor now. We gain 10 next turn.
Almost out of
All right, so you just trade, and then you hero power. Okay. So we need to dodge lightning claws. Our last card's Feral Rage.
Yeah, play that one. This full power gonna kill you. Alright.
warriors come out to play. And out of cards.
Can he kill us? Nah. Wipe.
Wait.
Swipe.
It's not lethal, right?
11, 12, 16. No, it's 1 off. It's like it's pretty close.
11, 12, 14, 19, I
I
believe.
think we go Aviana Kun for mana, and then we go Fandral Feral Rage.
Wait.
Swipe.
Why can't we just...
I don't know. I know what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah. We win.
Do that. Mana. Yeah, barrel. Swipe going.
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same, yeah.
We have to trade. Like...
Do we make this trade?
Whoa, wait. What?
I think we make this trade.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we had no 3 drops on the board because Devolve into Doomsayer loses us the game.
Okay.
Alright, good job.
Oh boy.
I do not know how Luminosity won this match. I do not know.
This was such a sick game.
I hear them giggling incessantly over on their side of the stage.
TJ, what a game.
That's massive for them. Not only is that brings their morale back up, if they had lost that game, they would have been pissed. And not only does this bring morale back up, but they by all accounts should have lost that game based off of the hand or the draws that we saw earlier on. That's crazy.
Look at the demeanor.
Yeah.
Game before,
relief. It's
they were
relief.
arguing about a Frostbolt for 25 minutes.
Yeah. As they were walking off stage to their break, they were still discussing that Frostbolt.
Now it's celebration. Camaraderie's back. I can't believe they won that game. And it started with Soleil saying, we got to win the game somehow. They slammed Malagos. There was not the second Hex. There was not one of the 2 devolves.
A lot more deliberation there. Frozen didn't go wild on them and
Wrath for one.
Wrath for one. Yeah, I really liked their team discussion there. They brought it back, and now they're 1 game away from winning this series and moving on to the winners match tomorrow. If you stay on that winner side of the bracket, you don't have to win that many games. They win today. They win a semifinal tomorrow. They're into the finals.
And look at the difference in the way the lineup looks, too, after the Shaman's gone. Now they have Druid and Paladin to fight against the Paladin remaining from Virtus.Pro. I mean, it is night and day. Before, I thought they were unfavored. Now, it's massive favorite.
Yeah. And Virtus.Pro, their demeanor doesn't really change from game to game.
It's definitely true.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in their voices sometimes that they can be a little bit more frustrated. But right now, they know that they got to get it done. They got to get the job done. And that's going into a tough last couple games here, potential last couple games. It could be over after this next one.
They're pretty much just all discussion. You see some smiles when they win, but the major difference, I think, is how excited their discussion was into that game. I mean, they knew that they're relying on that percentage. Hero power for 2 straight turns. They had a 25% chance to win right away just with hero power. Then the draw. They could have drawn Jade Claws. They could have drawn Jade Lightning. I mean, that look from Naaman, that's certainly a different one. But
Naaman has sort of been getting dismissed by his team today. Is something else that I've noticed. It has been a good day so far. If your name's Naaman.
I mean, that's the nature of the team event too, though. I mean, it's going to be 2 votes versus 1 very often, and that's what we've seen from Virtus.Pro for a lot of that time too. It's just the fact that it's split decisions a lot.
Yeah, that's what the extra dynamic of having 3 people on a stage does. But it's going to be Druid for Luminosity going to the next match. It's going to be Paladin or Virtus.Pro. You really have to get on the board quick in this matchup. And you kind of have to sort of aggro him down a little bit. The draws have to be in your favor.
Finja is definitely, I'd say, the key card in the matchup. If Virtus.Pro can land a big Finja activation, that is certainly a way for them to win. Druid does not have a ton of good ways to deal with the extra stats that came about. Last game they did, but it's because Virtus.Pro had 0 utility in their hand. It was just minions. Their deck, the Mulches turned their hand into an arena deck. And that wasn't even close enough to get the job done.
Spiteful Smith, unlicensed apothecary.
Barnes,
great shaman cards.
Barnes is certainly a key card in the matchup. There are some nigh auto win potentials off that. Big one that comes to mind is Tyrion. But this matchup really boils down to Virtus.Pro finding card draw, finding their Murlocs, and then getting to an anyfin can happen. Getting to the anyfin is really the easy part. It's doing all the rest of it that's tough. So Barnes helps facilitate that, while Luminosity is able to just take a slow game because, frankly, they're just not under a lot of pressure in this match.
This matchup does have quite a big difference between the Jade Druid matchup, because while it is the same strategy where if you give the Druid enough time, they're going to beat you, if you're the Paladin, you don't tools like Wild Pyromancer Equality or Quality Consecration aren't as effective at stopping that train.
Right.
Because Luminosity is just trying to build their own hand. They're not trying to build their own board. They're trying to get to that combo of Kuhn, Aviana, Malagos, plus a bunch of burn spells to the face. And if Virtus.Pro gives them enough time, there's not any removal in the world that's going to be able to stop that.
The other big difference is Shaman relies on its board to get value. Druid relies on keeping your opponent's board away to get value. It's tough for Virtus.Pro to simply get a board. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why Barnes is so important, is it does just that. But Virtus.Pro, you mentioned how weak Wild Pyromancer is in this, the Wild Pyromancer equality is in this matchup. They're just considering playing it.
Yeah, the jig is up. They know that Luminosity is running the Malagos version of it. Maybe they feel like they need the pressure. Wild Pyromancer all of a sudden gets in 6 if Wild Growth comes out the next turn.
It's a lot of damage.
And it's just going to be hero power after much deliberation. Well, let's go and listen in to Luminosity, see what kind of game plan they're formulating for this Paladin.
I think Thalnos, right?
Yeah, I like Thalnos.
Yeah, I like Thalnos as well.
Like,
wait. Solemn Vigil is the issue.
I'm like, I want to cycle, right? Like,
yeah.
We want to cycle more than they want to cycle.
Yeah, I'm down for it. We let him Solemn Vigil, we'll live with it.
I think not.
You could trade and play Solemn.
I don't see any trade and play Solemn.
So we can Bluegill combo the Bluegill maybe with the War Leader on 5. We also want to play Finja on 5. I don't know. It's less pressure though. But what is a 2-1 compared to 2 cards?
Yeah, but we play Barnes the next turn, so yeah, we're not gonna have much time to play Lulu's Hoarder after that.
So just play.
I think Loot is better. Yeah, I think Loot, and I don't really think we trade. We just go.
Probably trade, because it's the same.
No,
game.
right here, 2-1, keeping 2-1 on the table. Yeah, trade.
I think we can Psycho Raph.
That's what I think, but
I think that's
wanna
okay.
some more. Yeah. Right.
I think we just do this one.
Yeah, of course. I think most of you have to do that one.
That might be good.
We have some hand size issues for this Mandrill into Nourish curve.
That might not end up being the curve, because we have Fandral Wrath.
Barnes could be a big pickup. Good. Pain's okay, yeah. It would have. Finja probably would have been the best for a Murloc to get that extra Murloc in the pool, but Acolyte of Pain gets him closer to those things, so.
Yeah, anything that's just not a vanilla minion is good for Virtus.Pro. The Tyrion draw was sort of unfortunate, but that is a big threat versus Druid as well. Just the fact that it is not easily dealt with, and even in the face of Mulch, you're still unlocking 5 damage for the next 3 turns.
Yeah.
So I am curious how Luminosity takes care of this one. I mean, we heard them say that their cycles are better than Virtus.Pro's, and that was the decision between on the Solemn Vigil. Plus, if they'd seen Solemn Vigil on that turn, Coin Fandral would have been devastating.
A 3-5 on an empty board would have been almost impossible outside of Wild Pyromancer equality to do on turn 4. So
it's pretty nuts.
All right, so this looks like it's going to be a Nourish.
For ramp.
Probably for ramp.
Yep. This is smart too. It's very people do not ramp with Nourish often enough, and Luminosity recognized this right away. They were talking about the hand size issues they had.
Yeah.
It's the best way to get rid of hand size. Well, let's ramp up some mana crystals and play a bunch of cards.
Yeah, now the hero power on the Acolyte of Pain gives them an extra draw to be able to play Finja that turn.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually concerned with Finja right now because there's so much of their game plan is just going to revolve around drawing. It's just cycling. And there is a certain curve to it where you just don't really care if your opponent lands Finja or not.
It's a fair point.
And when they see this, I mean, they have to know that Virtus.Pro is weak in this spot.
All right, let's go listen to Luminosity. A few options this turn. Let's see what they want to go with.
It's still pretty good. They don't have a clear threat on board. I mean,
Andrew for Raph. 3-4?
Do you wrath the 3-2 ever?
No. Wrath the Acolyte ever?
No.
Acolyte with the Pyromancer, like.
I don't like it. Like, I like wrathing the 3-4.
I do too.
Okay.
We're trying to play our game. Raven Idol?
Yeah. These all suck.
Darnassus?
That doesn't make much sense to me.
I think we just play a Jormunger next turn.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to empty our hand a little bit, right?
Sort of.
There's like sort of a little bit of value.
Okay, so we're going turn 8 like something, turn 9 Drake swipe.
Okay, go quick.
I like the Jormunger.
Starfall. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, with others because he's no. We wanna kill. We wanna kill. How about?
Why don't we just double trade and then double draw for 2?
I wonder.
Yeah, also works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
An interesting turn from Virtus.Pro. They had some fancy plays with Aldor and like trading in and getting a Solemn Vigil to draw another card from Acolyte of Pain, but
a lot of cards.
This just draws a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And it keeps your Acolyte of Pain healthy, which gets more draws out of it in the future.
Now,
so
something to really look at is look at the difference in what the draws are actually meaning, though. Like Virtus.Pro's picking up a lot of utility that just frankly is very strong in the matchup. Luminosity starting to put together some massive combo turns. This is very heavily Luminosity favored at this point, and it's because Virtus.Pro's burst damage is still very far off, and they just don't have anything to really get the job going here. This is very close to game over.
it's tough for Virtus.Pro to, I mean, look at what they have to piece together. They have to piece together all their Murlocs, then they have to get the Anyfins and find a situation where they can spend 10 mana to play one Anyfin, and then it's probably not going to even kill them.
And
So they have to find mana to play a second Anyfin.
And they got to do that before Luminosity finds their stuff.
Yeah.
And step number 1 is killing the Emperor Thorson, which is already going to occupy some of their mana. The Doomsayer a reprieve here, but it's just not getting the job done. The Aspirant's even getting value in this spot.
Yeah. They could Guidance and Starfall here. It's going to be...
Wow.
And they have Raven Idol as well, so they could pick up another spell that they can tailor to Gadget and Auctioneer. So they can really go off with their draws.
Now the question is, how much do they want to invest at the moment? You know, if they just simply choose to Azure Drake and go with Raven Idol, or maybe just hold the Raven Idol for Auctioneer, can you get that other True Silver attack out and then maybe have Auctioneer stick to the board or be an even bigger disruption turn to your opponent? You know, ideally, you want to offset Tyrion. And if that's going to be the case, that means playing this Ancient of War.
That's what they're going to do, and kill off this Doomsayer.
And then this will help naturally protect the Auctioneer on the following turn. This was really smart.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's go listen in now to Virtus.Pro. It's starting to pick up for them a little bit. They have the option for Tyrion. Let's listen in.
Of course. I don't think we're playing Tyrion here. It's Elder, looks like. Elder, Wicked Flame.
Let me think.
You don't play Bluegill Rhines here, just Hero Power instead, so... Maybe attack with weapon. Yeah,
Also.
attack with the weapon, like...
Just Aldor.
Yeah, Alder, attack with the weapon. Do we want to play Wicked Flame or just change the weapon? Maybe change the weapon. I'm not sure.
I like equipping a new weapon.
No, I do it, yeah. No? Okay.
Do it.
Yeah, don't
Do
really
it.
like playing the Wicked Flame into 1/6. Yeah, okay, yeah, works.
No, the only thing is because...
So we still didn't draw Wild Growth or Vate, but we could get it.
We start with Feral Rage or Raven Idol.
Do you wanna? Do we want Auctioneer?
Yeah,
Auctioneer.
we do.
Yeah, yeah, go. Raven Idol.
I think we.
Raven Idol. Raven Idol.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're right.
We have a Vate, so go quick.
Mark of Nature?
Mark of Nature. Mark of Nature.
Yeah.
Hits the most damage. Vate. Feral Rage.
Mark of Nature?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you want a
Feral Rage?
Mark of Nature, a guy.
Okay.
Which guy? The 5/6.
The yeah, that one. Feral Rage.
Hit it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's gonna quality clear.
$11. Quality consecrate.
And Wicked Flame.
And Wicker Flame go face.
Yeah. Zaza plays Spire quality, right?
Yeah, but what?
To extra hero power.
Hmm?
To have extra hero power.
Yeah, but what is it good for?
Yeah. I mean, we're
Just
not
the
gonna need
quality
consecrations. Yes, we don't really
It's
need
just the
it.
quality cons.
Get most that, honestly.
Aviana.
No, we cannot.
Come on, baby.
What do you mean we cannot?
I mean,
Aviana.
I mean, because 8 drops are a thing.
Yeah, but
All right, can we draw 3?
You can. But then if you Drake, you have to burn something.
you go Drake hero power swipe. That's
No,
not
that
that
sucks.
good.
Let's draw 3. We're drawing towards lethal. Like, not
Yeah,
this
yeah,
turn,
yeah, let's
but,
draw.
like, digging is super good.
Mulch got a lot better. We can go Wild Growth Mulch.
Okay, so if we mulch, we don't have an answer to a big 8 drop.
We have two
We have
mulches.
2 mulches.
Oh, we do? Okay, then.
So
I
is
like
Wild
that a
Growth?
lot. Yeah.
Mulch.
Is that better than, like, gaining 8 or something?
You let them heal. They go to 25 maybe. We still have lethal, but...
Give them a random card.
I mean, yeah, random card, but like I would mulch still, right?
Yeah, if they play Tyrion, it's actually pretty good
We're
for us.
really happy if they play Tyrion.
That's true, that's true.
Alright, so we drew Feral Rage, Mire Keeper, Mulch. Aviana.
Wow.
Coon picked up from the mulch. That could give them the armor that they need to survive the Malagos burst.
Not only that, but it could also just be an extra 7/7. Like if they want to play Coon and Tyrion in this turn, they also get Bluegill down.
They're going for crystals.
Yeah, because look at this. Now,
I guess that's a good power.
What does Virtus.Pro do here now? Like they need to deliver lethal.
Well, they do have lethal. Aviana's still lethal. They only have 6 cards left in their deck, so it's 1 and 6 right now.
They get 24 from hand if they draw Aviana.
So if Forbidden Healing comes out, then they don't have it anymore.
Oh my gosh, and Virtus.Pro slowed down. I think they're going to Forbidden Healing in this spot. I mean, the Tyrion's just, it's brutal, and they almost got way ahead of themselves here. I don't really know what to think in
I mean,
this
there's
spot.
a potential for a bunch of burn spells, too. There's still burn spells left in Luminosity's deck with Living Roots. So maybe they're thinking Forbidden Healing's not going to even do enough. But when else are they going to find time to do it? That's the question.
Got a pressure, too. I mean, if they use the Bluegill Warrior here, anything represents 4 points of damage, 5 from the Tyrion, that's 9, and then 7 from Coon. They're going to choose to heal, and Luminosity would no longer have lethal, but, well, no, it is lethal because they can Feral Rage alongside. That's right.
They can Feral Rage.
Oh, they don't have the mana for that. This is the Azure Drake. That's 3 extra points of
Azure
damage.
Drake, that's what it is. Brings all your minions to 1, so it's lethal anyway.
And there's the
Forbidden
Intervade.
Healing.
Wow, the Aviana draw. They've spent the entire game digging. And then at card number 25, Aviana shows up. GG.
And that's going to be Luminosity taking the series. They're going to move on to the winners match tomorrow. Virtus.Pro will have to fight their way down through those loser matches throughout the weekend. Luminosity, that Druid doing work. Not bringing Sage Druid, bringing Malagos Druid.
Now, 5 cards left. We saw 2 Nourishes. We saw Ancient of War. We saw double Mulch. Did we see 2 Moonfires? Did we see 2 Living Roots?
I don't know.
I'm curious about that build. That looks interesting.
With Coon, you can sort of skimp on the burn a little bit because you get a full mana, so you can fit in swipes and fit in extra minions to get that extra damage. But there's Luminosity's run. A strong finish and a strong start is what gets them through this. A little bit shaky towards the middle of that series, but they get the job done.
I mean, you could hear the intensity at the end too, with the vocal back and forth.
Yeah.
And we can't mulch here, right? We have 2 mulches.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, respect. I mean, the intensity is necessary. You're playing for $150,000 in prizes, and it's boiling down to a couple games. You got to be 100% on point. You can't take time to like spare feelings if that's what it's going to boil down to. You know what I mean? Those are big boys.
Chaki's heavy on the memes at the beginning of the series, but when things start to get close and it starts to get intense, he's the first person to sit up in his chair and start screaming out commands. You saw that Gadsden Auctioneer turn. Frozen was piloting, but Chaki was taking the reins effectively.
Yeah. Go.
Go. Market nature now. Innervate now. You know, you need to go fast. We have the Innervate. You know, really a leader of that team at times, especially when things start to get close. Like that, despite all the joking around that happens, when these guys get down to business, they perform.
And indeed, and that's a very important facet as well. Is when the matches are super clutch, you're playing a difficult deck. You're limited on time. Auctioneer is one of those cards where you have to get going. There's not a lot of discussion that can take place. Yeah, you just have to be on point. And look at that win rate for Druid with Luminosity during this series.
Yeah, Luminosity has had a lot of success with Druid over the course of the Trinity series, and it's up there with Mage as one of their most winningest classes. They brought J Druid for most of the time there. You can see these guys definitely are proficient with Druid. We'll see if it's going to carry them further through. Virtus.Pro, not as much success, but Team Liquid Complexity, we'll see them a little bit later on. That's going to be the next match. We're waiting right now. We're going to have some words with the winners in a few moments, but waiting for them to get set up. They just had an intense series. We want to give them a little breather. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket now for those of you who may just be tuning in. This is day number 1 of the live finals for the Trinity series. It's a double elimination bracket. Luminosity will move on to face the winner of Complexity Team Liquid. Virtus.Pro now 1 match away from elimination. They got to battle it back to the lower bracket. They'll face the loser of the Complexity Liquid match.
Yeah, just looking at the match, there's so many things you could talk about here too, which is, you know, the hand reading that teams had was for the most part spot on, but there were some big things that were overlooked in this match. The big one that I look at is Virtus.Pro's Dragon Priest versus Luminosity Shaman. Turn 1 Northshire Cleric happened from Virtus.Pro. Luminosity chose to coin out Totem Golem right into that. Well, Northshire Cleric I don't think is going to come out unless there's some sort of backup, which means Warmaster Agent is going to stop the board or Shadow Word Pain is going to punish the Golem. That ended up snowballing to a very favorable position for them at some point, and Virtus.Pro took that match. Another one to look at was the Bran from Luminosity's Dragon Priest versus Virtus.Pro, and they didn't pay heed to what Defender Vargas would look like, and then Defender Vargas hit the board, and that was the big payoff, and it was a runaway game for Luminosity at that point. Little tiny itty-bitty differences, I think, changed the scope of the way that this entire match looked like. If you miss one consideration, that could be the difference in the entire series.
Snowball a game, snowball a series, but Luminosity takes the victory. And standing by with the winning team to get a few words, Frodan's over at Trinity tonight.
Welcome back, everybody. Trinity tonight's section of the Trinity Series Finals. I'm joined by the first winning team in Luminosity, being able to guarantee themselves in the winners' finals, which also means a guaranteed 3rd place. Every win, of course, gets you closer. Essentially 3 wins get you 1st place, so every win moves you up. So congratulations, guys. Really hard-fought series. It looked like you guys were in a down position to start things off, and then Virtus.Pro caught all the way up, and then being able to use Mally Druid to secure the series, really cool stuff. Why don't you just go ahead and walk me through the moments in the series that stuck out in your mind, starting with you, Zole.
There are three key games, I would say. The first game is always key because it's last year standing. If you win that, you kind of dictate things throughout, and we drew really well and won that pretty easily with Shaman against Druid. The second game that was key was the one we lost with Freed's Mage against their Shaman. We're favored in that matchup, and once we lose that favorable matchup, things get a lot harder for us lineup-wise. You guys want to talk about the game?
I think
Wait, what was the third one?
You said there were 3
I think
games.
the third one is the one where our Druid beat the Shaman, right?
And then the Priest game was also pretty important. The Priest versus...
Your Priest versus their Temple Mage?
Their Shaman.
Oh, Priest versus
your Priest versus their Shaman.
Priest versus Temple Mage
That
is
was
really
just like
important, too.
Yeah.
They're all important.
The Priest versus Shaman game...
No, some are kind of not
Some are kind of not.
It was really hard for the rest
last
of their decks to line up against our Priest. Like, Priest was pretty solid versus their Paladin and their...
Yeah, there were some comments over by the other teams watching saying, man, if you have to queue Shaman into Dragon Priest, you're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So it felt like you guys were in control. But, talk to me more about that Freeze Mage game. You said there was something controversial about it. What in your opinion, went right or went wrong?
There are 2 key decisions that we really disagreed about, and they were both Frostbolts. Right? If we Frostbolt this Manatide, And do we Frostbolt this Azure Drake? And we all pretty much disagreed the whole way through, and that's what we were talking about during the bathroom break too.
It was like, it was the first game that we really did not communicate well. We kind of just had strong disagreements, and Frozen was the pilot, and when we had our disagreements, so the first one he kind of just bowed down and took what Zlay and I said, and then on the second one he was more strong about it, and I was like, I don't think we get there without the second Frostbolt, and he's like, no, we'll have enough, and that was all. We didn't have time to explain our thoughts.
Sure.
So it was kind of just a yes versus no butting heads, and one he went with us, and the other one he went with his gut, and then it obviously did not work.
We did put Frozen on Freeze Mage specifically for this, so that
he has
when
the
rope's
most knowledge.
burning, we trust him with Freeze Mage, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely, and it seemed to work out. And I mean, it's interesting because, Chalky, you've also played a ton of Freeze Mage. In fact, your biggest victory in tournament history in DreamHack last year is because you pilot Freeze Mage expertly. So it's cool to see the conflict of opinions be able to still work out in the end, at least because you got the series win. I do want to ask a question. Mally Ghost Druid seems to be under fire a lot in terms of people just wondering why you bring it to a tournament. And Frozen, not only are you bringing it with Luminosity in this tournament, but you're bringing it for the Bahamas Championship, and you also brought it last weekend for the Boston Major. Why do you love this deck so much?
I think the power level of the deck is just really, really strong. Overall, it has good early game. It can beat a lot of the lineups, and especially with bans, you can really narrow down the matchups. And it's just a lot stronger than Jade Druid versus the control decks.
Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, we'll see if other teams copy that strategy, or actually agree with your strategy, because everyone submitted decks ahead of time. I do want to ask you guys, if you were to pick an MVP, whether a player or a card or a certain deck, what would it be from this series specifically? Anyone answer. Chalky, maybe you're the person.
Paladin, because we just didn't play it.
You didn't play it. He knew to sit on the sideline.
Great job, Uther. Really well played.
All right, cool. I do want to bring up something interesting because it looks like the other teams aren't ready yet for the next series. Something interesting happened. We're doing the bans off screen for the next match. Team Liquid has chosen to ban Druid and Rogue. Complexity banned Warrior and Rogue. So what do you think about that strategy? Because you're going to be playing the winner of that match.
Yeah.
Anything jump out to you immediately?
Clearly they have something designed to beat Pirate Warrior. It's just for us, it was a matter of, if you bring something to beat Pirate Warrior, first of all, if it fails, you're kind of just screwed.
Right.
And then you're kind of dedicating one deck to that purpose. You go 1-1 with Pirate Warrior, and then your deck usually loses. You can't bring Control Warrior or anything. It's a really weird situation with two bans, how you counter Pirate Warrior.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Obviously we'll have to think about it a lot more if we're going up against them tomorrow, but we decided to just ban Warrior.
Okay. Well, certainly interesting for the next coming series. I do have one more question to ask because it looks like they're almost ready. And this one goes to Soleil in honor of your Hunter expeditions in the past month. During the series break, while you guys went to the bathroom, we asked a nerf, marry, kill question between Huffer, Misha, and Leok. Who would you choose between all those three? Who would you nerf, who would you marry, who would you kill?
Well, I'd marry Huffer, SM Orc.
Easy choice there.
And I would nerf Misha. Nobody wants to see a 4-4 on turn 3. Just kill Leok.
You're going to kill Leok?
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to see that guy ever get killed.
Anyway.
He's dead, it's fine.
Everyone's chosen to kill Leok so far.
Yes.
I think you're all in agreement there.
Well, you can't nerf him.
Right, because he can't get any much worse. So. All right, well, thanks for stopping by, Luminosity, and congratulations on your victory, and good luck in the rest of your matches. We're done over here on this side of Trinity tonight. Let's head over to Admiral to introduce the next teams that are going to be playing in the second best of 11.